easy option on there. Varus did get through draft this time. That was the difference there. The response will be the Pantheon coming on through. Hello again, YouTube. Do apologize on that issue with copyright strike stuff. I don't know what we do. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever's happening, the stream kept getting taken off air. We don't really know why. We thought we'd solve the issue, and then it just keeps happening time and time and time again now. We're not sure what's happening with that. Civet into the Varus is a known quantity. Not exactly a surprise to see that one. Caught on here. Oh, nice. There you go. That rise at this point. Yeah, there's a fair shout. Very potent control mage right now. Scales well. Split push as well. Abuses some of the new items. Actualizer is superb on rise. Not exactly surprised to see that. Nautilus a consideration at this point. And is indeed locked in. Big pick now from Thunder Talk. Chains of Corruption, Rune Prison, Dredge Line. Fantastic. Leona can certainly allow for the Pantheon to pair up well there. They'll have their own CC change to work with. Looking like some very aggressive skirmishing. Double globals with the Rise and the Pantheon to contend with already on the hunt. Be pretty dangerous as well. Let's see whether Ryan wants to run with the teleport. Some Varuses have been doing that. I saw About the other day do that and then teleport into the middle of everyone and die. Still won the game. But an awful TP nonetheless. Second phase of bans coming on through. We're still waiting on solo loans for EDG. Looking for a top lane in the jungler for Thunder Talk. And Nivea away from Angel to stop that good combo into the Rise. Rookie did it the other day and was disgusting on it. Into the Rise, who just couldn't get to play the game. Kiana banned away from Junhao. Does like his carries when and where available. Neferi was a bit of a pick for him last year when that was first coming into meta. The Renekton away from Keshi. Ironic, because obviously last game it was ZDZ who had that banned away from him. Both do love that pick. What's our final ban? Probably something like the Cassiopeia. Angel plays it. It's another one of those good matchups into the Rise. Malzahar. In fairness, we saw Angel play the Malzahar yesterday into the Rise, and I'd forgotten about that, but it is very annoying. Should have remembered that Angel was our Malzahar player just from yesterday when they got that first win. Few options being hovered through. Syndra has kind of been a fairly standard matchup. Aurora also not bad. And theoretically use some of her mobility to escape from some of that pick CC, but it's quite a short range, so is and Rune Prism distance. Instead, Syndra will be the choice, a bit more non-committal CC. Alongside the Leona and the Pantheon, can definitely set up a good CC chain of their own now. Cassante, big tank option still up on the board, will get locked in. Very, very potent with the changes to levels in top side. Cassante loves level 20, has to be said. Nocturne potentially for Junhao would be a good dive threat. Can pair up with the pick CC already. So there we go. Press R and engage. And be quite threatening into the likes of a Syndra. And Sivir, who can't always break the tether well enough. Couple of options here. We've been hearing rumours that Gangplank might be back. Can scale quite freely into the Cassante, who's a melee matchup. Can theoretically ult as a global option, but instead it'll just be the Gnar. Standard matchup into Cassante. You get to be ranged into his melee. It's a safe option. Not exactly the scariest counter pick of all time, but ZDZ is a well-practiced Gnar player, so we'll be happy enough with that. Both teams, I think, relatively happy with the drafts here. Scaling much for a muchness. Probably slightly better for EDG. I would argue then again the other side of this, it's easier for TT to pull the trigger with Nautilus, Nocturne, Varus, Cassante with the front line. little bit more conditional for EDG. Not bad, not super hard, right? Leona, Syndra, Pantheon, hardly that tricky. But you do want to time around the Mega Knight. You do want to make sure you hit the right targets with your CC, even if it's a little bit less committal, which can be nice in its own way. If you are going with Nocturne, you're going in with Nocturne. You want those Nocturne ults early on to start the snowball rolling for you. Bring up that volume. Get ourselves locked in for our final game of this series before we move on to BLG JDG. I know, the big match still on the docket, but here in LNG's arena of Suzhou, get as much out of this as we can. A little bit of ads. Then the gameplay. Not been the cleanest from either team, but hopefully both teams with a slightly different look can give us a bit more to work with. Who has the better draft? I think both kind of even. Possibly slightly better for TT. Jayo's first. Early laning phase in mid that we're having a look at. I'm not seeing anything super spicy with the runes there. Double phase rush mid. Comets, all the like. Ah, Huya ad. Stop this. Stop this, Huya. Very silly. There we go. And a little bit of a stun in mid. Phase rush procced. Ta-da. Exactly, not like EDG's draft is bad. I'll note that. Sivir, Syndra scale very well. Not that, of course, the Rise doesn't. Poke Varus as well, so more of that mid-game spike. And again, Nocturne, very much a mid-game champion with that Varus. You want to make things roll there. If you do let the Sivir get through, I think the extended DPS with Sivir, Syndra going through some rotations might be a little bit much for just the Rise to manage. It should be, as I said, a fairly competitive draft here. Give a slight edge to TT on the ease of execution. But there is a world where Gnar gets to be a bit of a split push menace, get that early priority. The Pantheon with that early power, the level 6s could be a bit dangerous. The double globals of Rise, Realm Warp, and Nocturne ult, particularly at level 11, once it gets beyond that kind of lower range mark, can be a bit of a danger as well. So keep your eyes on that one. A little bit of an invade here. Just put a wall down. Clears happen. Nothing super spicy there. Again, it's been a relatively tame early game so far. So nothing super crazy. ZDZ about to hit Mega, so no real ability to push that mini Gnar under the turret and feel too bad about it. Both supports just putting each other out. Now they're not able to interrupt the back there. Well, bit of a chunk. But again, not to any real massive lead. Angel having just TP'd back in. Well, no, actually, no, not TP'd. They've both got ghosts. Should have noticed that, actually, but no TPs to be found. That's okay. Still, slight CS lead to Harry, but not to any meaningful lead. Dark Seal on the back. Tier for Harry as well. The first set of resets are largely beginning to come on through now. Bot lane shove comes on forwards. Just playing this one out slow again, but we need to really wait for level 6s before I think we see some real fireworks occurring. Mid lane, look, both junglers. Not too much there. Huh. Skullcraft spawning topside. We might see a bit of a fight over this, actually. Xiaohao has got a control ward to walk towards. Bot side, Palkia lands the Zenith Blade. Ryan will cleanse. Okay, additional trade there. Worth noting, again, Lee's gone for the Ghost. Ryan's gone for the cleanse. Probably reasonable for both. Scatter the Weak comes on for the Unspeakable Horror. Rune Prison, Unleashed Power. Decent enough. Flash on 4 for the auto. Is good from Heru. Flash out from Junhao. Means he doesn't down another Realm Warp forwards. Uh-oh. Potentially get another Rune Prison. The Aegis Assault comes on down. TT with a good chunk there. Last Overload is not enough. Oh, Heru. Very close to getting that bot side. A little bit of a dive happening. Heal burned by Palkia as they go under the turret. That's the heal burned as well by Feather. Aggressive moves. But that mid lane skirmish, the first blood goes the way of TT. Cost them a few summoners, but that's true on both sides. And the Rise getting ahead of curve is exactly what you want at Thunder Talk. JDG getting a bit of a jump on there by Kesh. Footwork. Got a Q3 stack. Eats a boulder instead. And a Mega Gnar. Another boulder into a crunch. Actually, it's a wallet. Crunch is the hot. They're all onomatopoeic. Kind of fit the vibe. What's your favorite onomatopoeic ability name in League of Legends? Personally, watch out, Eep! I'm not sure whether the Eep is onomatopoeic, actually. I take that back. Almost onomatopoeic. It's more like a sentence. Like crunch. Good one. I've said that, and I'm thinking, how many onomatopoeic League ability names are there? And I've realised I may have put myself into a hole there without thinking that one through. Often a little bit more decorative than onomatopoeic. Over towards the grubs we go. A chew. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a very good one. TT should pick up those grubs. Ooh, flash from Palkia. Solar Flare. Reminder, Heru does not have his own flash. That's a CC chain. The phase rush not get about to safety. Syndra decides to unleash her power. And Rise goes, that's a lot of balls to the face, and he dies. It's like dodgeball, but even more mean than high school. Why have we not got dodgeball Syndra now that I'm thinking about? We've got volleyball Syndra, to be fair. So it would be kind of conflating skins. You know what? We have got volleyball Syndra from the beach skin. So you know what? We kind of do have that now that I think about it. Chomp is a good shout. Yeah, agreed. A Chew is also excellent from Smolder, as Harold suggests. Bit of a pullback. None of my mains have particularly good abilities. I like Supreme Display of Talent. It's a great one. My favorite ability name is Aphelios Gravitum Cube, which is Binding Eclipse, which I think is a great one to yell out. Very useful one as well. It's the root from the purple gun. I do so like it. I do. Level 8 for Xiaohao. We thinking about making a play here. Nocturne also around. Possibility of some junglers pulling ults here. Not going to be a known quantity now. On the Gromp is the Nocturne. ZDZ has been managing Keshi quite well up here. Visol Assault Battery before it got renamed. Yeah, it was a good one. I understand why they did rename it. It became a little less jokey, a little bit more, ooh, that's a bit of an awkward relation to reality. Considering the character they want Vi to have, I think it became perhaps more problematic than funny. I like Killer Instinct. Great one. Great grind. Scout of the Week. Also a wonderful name, ability name. Into the Solar Flare. Unto the power that is indeed unleashed. Dragon started. Xiaohao should be able to take this one without too much contest. And EDG making that very nice play there. Again, the pick CC is very good from them. Solar Flare leads to a Scout of the Week, leads to a Pantheon W. Very, very dangerous. Graves Path is Grit. Goes pretty well. Yeah. Isn't Set's passive Grit and then Graves passive True Grit? Or is True Grit Set's passive? I forget which way round it is. They've both got some grit to work with. Ult top side, flashed away, but that's Mini Nar. The Fear's coming on forward. Turn around with the Grand Starfall, but that could get a bit dicey. Over they go, but unfortunately, the response is good from EDG, making it the 1-for-1 both top laners die. And now Junhao needs to flash away from Palkia's Zenith Blade. Will do so. Gets out. Not the cleanest. Am I right? Well, this is still a good passive name. Because also, it's just very fun to keep up in the jungle. It gives you all that armor. Very delicious. Eat all, says Angel. And you go, yep, that's fine. Infinite Duress is a fun one. Yeah, it's a good one. Infinite Duress. Agony's Embrace is Evelyn's epithet. What's this? Last Caress is her ult. Which is a wonderful one, considering the actuality of it. It's just stylistically nice and messy. I love it. There's the replay. So, Angel flashes the depth, the dredge line. Did have to blow flash. His Feather went looking for it. Caught clearing the wards in the lane. Good punish. That much happening at the minute, although I say that. Are we looking top? We are looking top. Okay. And comes the Ghost as well. That's just a very dead nah. No response this time. And Thunder Talk. Pull off the globals. Realm Warp and Paranoia. It's called Pit Grit. Ah, that's the way around it is. But the resource is still grit, isn't it? The resource is still grit. So obviously, I know he gets the increased healing. Paranoia is a good one too. It is indeed. The Skies Descend, Aurelian Soul. Oh no! So close to getting the interrupt. Doesn't quite find it. Fear Beyond Death. Got ult. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Hyperkinetic position reverser though, eh? Eh? Only true League of Legends fans will get that. Angel gets the shove top side, and despite the couple kills going the way of Heru, Angel's still up in gold. In fairness, EDG in general are just up that little bit of extra gold. How long an ult from Paranoia? Not long at all. Hex plate, giving you very short cooldowns on that one. Ult into the wall, into the boulder tops. Here we go. Realm Warp, sorry, Rune Prison, there we go, got it correctly. And that's just a very dead Angel, but however, everyone now here, out comes the depth charge, trying to buy some time. It's still a 3v2. I don't know how aggressively they can play this. Xiaohao with the passive stack, though, will get the empowered double. He misses Q! Uh-oh, I think Heru is still dead here. So end up being both mid laners being traded. Just clear out the wave on the way out. Leave has donated the kill. Ryan's going to be given a lot of time mid lane, though. Both teams very happy to trade out. Keshi got left very low here. Does probably have to be a bit careful. Has he got all out available? He does. So Omnivamp is a thing. I don't think League will ever do any crossover skins. Not yet. No. An Adeptus Sororitas Kale would be awesome. Or a Misfortune. Or a Rogue Trader Misfortune would be great. Because I just think all of the bolters there would be great. You could absolutely have a Defiler Urgot. Chaos Space Marine Darius. Regular Space Marine Garen. Leave is dead. Leave is dead. All out. Okay, got TP'd on. Didn't respect the flash. Leave stuck around. Blow all his summoners and still died. He tried to go for that turret and got TP'd on. Oops. Kenshi, what a check. Kenshi's had a good series, guys. Kenshi has been the better top laner this series, for my money. Fairly significant. The Gwen was very good. The Ambessa got solo kills. Xante's been solid. You know what, Kenshi coming up from BLG? Good work. Not Kenshi, Keshi, yes. Have I been saying Kenshi? Sorry. But yes, I've been saying Keshi's Castle. Was my joke for a reason. I'm a little bit out of it today. So there's a very real world where I've been adding an N into Keshi's name unintentionally. The extra letter is a form of endearment, I promise. EDG don't really have a lead anymore. Very even mid-game. Out comes the exhaust. Top side, turret still goes down. That will be first turret for EDG. Bot side, Heru should be able to trade that out fairly fast. Herald into that. Scandal weakness goes wide. Mid lane, Leave gets another plate. Lot of reactive moves. Sometimes someone plays the global card, the other team follows suit. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Senpai Blank. Palkia's in danger here. Chains of Corruption. There's that chain CC. Ooh, flashes. Good job from Palkia. And Ryan shorted the arrow. Oops. Okay. Gonna get out of here and get to school. Caravan, enjoy school, mate. We'll see you soon. Hopefully you get to catch a little bit of BLG, JDG regardless. Sneak it while you're in school, I believe. Enjoy your education. Leave should clear out these minions just fine. Oh, power gear! Oh boy, that's quite deep. Still tanky enough. Now this gets a bit interesting. Look at the scout of the week. Across 3! Beautiful from Angel to disengage. It's a ghost from Feather. Whoa! Important scout of the week. Especially because Leave was not there. Not there at all. No, it was not. Now Leave goes mid lane. Yeah. What if Syndra had a way to unleash her power? My god. Yes, make her float and circle and have random purple ball orbs circle her. Yeah, she must ponder the orbs. Make her catapult the orbs like a trebuchet, yeah. Dragon is up in 35 seconds. That will probably be... it's a TikTok thing. There's a guy who does some kind of like how people get to their creative endpoints on certain projects, you know. I require the droid to be spherical. Yeah. Quite funny. I reckon you'll know him. Wears glasses and the tweed jacket, sort of leans slowly to the right. There is a potential option to teleport behind it, but that turret is gone. ZDZ is going to take this opportunity. Interesting that TT is favored from this point, despite being behind in gold, by the way. That is interesting. Guess it's a scaling thing. They're going to get the mid lane turret here as well. And they get to charge through mid. Ooh, boy. Yeah, this gets interesting. I also think certain champions have maybe not got the highest win rate right now. In comes Grand Starfall. Force of Will. Angel's still trying to stack towards the 120 stacks. Not quite there yet. That's a big break point. And EDG's late games have been a little bit anomalous, shall we say. Namely, not fantastic. Arrow. Chain to corruption. The Eclipse about to time out. This is not a great space for the Leona to be in. Xiao Hao can maybe come over and play this. They're not helping. Finally, the Solar Flare comes on down. The Paranoia turning around instead onto Angel. Flashes away. Scout of the Week breaks the tether. And they split targets and don't kill anyone. But you get Flash and Ghost off Angel. You get Heal and Flash off Bounty. So you do get some summoners. There is that. But you don't get the kills. It means you can't turn that into a Baron. It's another slow game, guys. Dragon 2.5 minutes away. EDG still with the gold lead, but again, statistically, it's interesting that the bot favors TT regardless. Oh, bit of a Hoya stutter. ZDZ looking for a flank angle. In they go. Solar Flare. Feather having a bad time. Heru on the flank angle. Looking to threaten Leave. Gets the slow. Not anything more. They're going to try and turn onto Heru, who gets stunned. Has to flash out. Ryan gets Angel, but not before he gets to unleash the power. Heru's still threatening. Leave gets dragged all out. Flashed away. Looking forward to the Cassante. Varus gets the kill. The Realm Warp buys Leaves attention. Splits the DPS of EDG well. They can look for more. Another Rune Prison available. Heru, I think, is tankier than people think he is. Palkia can maybe look for a Zenith Blade, looking for the overload. Lands it. That'll mark things off. Last bit of damage from the Comet brings down Palkia, and they can turn back towards some more work. How much can they do here as Xiaohao just goes, yeah, no, I'm not interested. I'm leaving. Thanks. That's a 3 for none in favor of TT. CDC nearly at Mega. Can maybe interrupt Heru there. And that might make things a bit interesting. Flash! Footwork is enough of a shield at this point. CDZ now down the flash. Paranoia, turn the lights off. Heru gets to flank with the Realm Warp. It's nice work, because again, Feather gets jumped on. You're thinking, oh boy, this is a bit dodgy. Flashes, doesn't stay safe. Meganar is coming. You're going, oh my god, we're fighting to a choke point with Mega here. But then the Realm Warp comes on forward. Paranoia comes in. Heru with the Ghost running, with the Phase Rush, just gets a sprint out. Leave still not done any DPS to this club. And then Flash from Keshi. All out onto Leave, who's already been chunked. Goes down, Flash from Ryan to secure. Costs you a lot of summoners, but you do bring down... that. Did Nard waste Flash like that? Yes, he did. I hate to say it, but yes, he did. Not exactly what you call pretty. Well, oops, I guess. Are you expecting too much at this point? No, not really, I think. Another team down. That's not bad going. Take what you can get. Baron's still not there. At least the split push occurs. Okay, you'll take it. You will take it. Leave clearing up to Raps. Would love to get to a third item. Just not that much damage yet on this Civet, especially compared to the Varus of 1,000 gold. Maybe playing to mid, but Ryan's miles away. It's the ult down. I grant you that you've still a little while before it's going to be absolutely necessary, but just not really finding many good picks here of EDG, and TT just looked better over the last 5 to 10. Particularly in those grouped up fights. That last one around the Dragon proved pretty problematic for them to manage. It must be said. It must be said. Not exactly been infused by EDG's late game of late, have we? To Baron we go. Maybe this is the turnaround angle. Sante's like unkillable now. Yeah, he's pretty scary. Nas split pushing, has got Mega TPing him. He's gone back to Mini. Heru on the flank. Gets jumped on. Heru can't quite necessarily find what he's looking for. Mini Nas doing some work. Feather's in danger, goes down, but that's only the support. What about Atlas? Keshi goes all out onto ZDZ, not the best target. Heru goes golden. They've executed another. EDG have found the picks they're finally looking for. All out from Keshi, but he's in danger from Leave, who has to leave instead. A little ironic considering who he's against. They lose 4, try to start the Baron, and oh, Thunder Talk. That wasn't great, was it? Oh dear. This time Angel gets to blow someone up and doesn't die. There was a GA on Xiaohao. They choose the wrong targets. Heru goes down. Ryan doesn't have the summoners, and that will hurt them. They've got 20 seconds on most of the wave clear. Can they end the game? I don't think so. Just don't have the damage there, so they'll take the inhibitor turret and get away back towards the Baron. Big swinging gold for them, though. Big swinging gold. Don't think John now... Can I say that? Maybe at level 16 with the Paranoia, he can come and try and steal. Does he want to take the risk TPing in? This might become a flip. Watch Keshi at level 17. Is scary here. Scout of the week. They can't do the Baron. They have to back away. Now with the delayed reset, there is a very real world here. Very real world here, where instead TT can go straight back with the resets kind of sucking from EDG. They could just go back to it. Oh no! We just do it all over again. And the resets have had to come on through. ZDZ's got Mega. Showhouse not there. Does have Grand Starfall. Mega to work with. No flash from Nar. Nearly up. Here we go. Grand Starfall taken by the knockdown. Paranoia comes on down. But the fight in the pit commences. How much damage is Leave doing through everyone? All out. Drags at least one. GA popped. TT running away. Ghostblade's in. The Scout of the Week just about tags Haru, but doesn't kill him off. Keshi may well be the sacrificial Cassante. Flash over from Palkia. Looking for a Zenith Blade. Can't find it. 2 down for Baron. ZDC might be able to find something more. Nearly at Mega. Can keep hunting. He's quite scary. Won't be able to get anything further. Dragon a minute and a half. TT just do it all over again. And this time they get the Baron. It's not clean, but it's done. Summoner economy, though, is very much in favor of EDG. No flash, no cleanse on Ryan. No flash, no ghost on Haru. No flash on Keshi or Junhao either. Those are big tools when you're into the pick CC and you're trying to jump on someone like Lee, who went from 2.5 items to 4 completed. That's a big breakpoint coming into this dragon fight in a minute. Assuming, of course, TT are willing to take it. They can't just afford to give it up. And the game goes later still. Haru with a split push angle. He's very strong here on this rise. He's trying to build towards his Onions. Fair enough. That's not unreasonable into all the pick. Doesn't have a Zhonya's though, because the arm guard broken means plus no NLR. Basically what I'm trying to say is he doesn't have the stasis available because he's broken the arm guard. And Zhonya's is a ways off completion. Scan of the week. On to Keshi. Not the easiest. Solar Flare. A little bit shy. Footwork, Pathmaker combo. Still jumping on top of them and actually just blasts him. Oh boy. Syndra's percent HP damage scary with the Force of Will leveled up. And they have to Realm Warp out to safety. Baron buff is minus 1,000 gold. And that will be Soul Point instead for EDG. Ah. Cassante no longer that tanky. He's built a lot of armor, not a lot of magic resist. And Syndra is very much at the point where she really stings versus tanks. Build gives you a lot of cooldown reduction to go cycling through those Ws on repeat. Junhao not going to get caught by that boulder toss. Palkia thinking about flashing over, won't do it. Let's throw out that shield briefly. Doesn't lead to any more chaos. A lot of pings. Baron, 2.5 minutes. Dragon, 4.5. I don't think any team's lending until we get a Baron. So realistically, we're going 40+ minutes again here. This has been a slog of a series. Minus 1,500 gold for Thunder Talk. Oh my lord, guys. We're in it for the long haul. The longest of hauls. Still got one more series after this to go, reminder, folks. Megan up into the wall for Keshi. Here comes the Grand Starfall. They want to try and play this. Okay, Keshi, pretty tanky. He has started to become a little less tanky, as actually there's a 2-level advantage for ZDZ over him. And the Gnar, with all of his split pushing build, gets the damage done. Again, Trinity Force, Sterak's, Cleaver, Wit's End. Good damage from this Gnar at this point in the game. Sante was feeling like a bulwark early on. Inhibitor turret. Tier 2 under siege. Crystallized proc. ZDZ nearly at mega again. You don't have your front line. It's a 4,500 gold lead for ZDZ this time around. Keshi had a great start to the game. Has fallen apart as the game has gone on. That's too far from Palkia. Again, EDG. Bumble around inhibitor turrets. Too deep, too far. Hang on, turn around. That's a double mega now into the wall. Good angle from Heru to buy some time with the Zhonya's activation. Flash out. Paranoia burns. Everyone survives. Is there a rumble bangle behind Leave? Going very low but surviving. Kills off Heru. Ryan low. Flash on forward. Last auto. Well done from Leave. Both carries down. This is likely it. Surely it's it. Not quite an execute threshold. Keshu comes up. Gets himself the footwork for Feather. Keeps him up and rolling. Does it matter, though? You've got no wave clear. You've got 2 tanks and a Nocturne. The scout of the week hits 3. Next turret's under siege. Feather down. And I think this is it. Finally, 38 minutes into the game. And EDG grind out the win. TT's mid-game strength in not enough. No Baron enough for them to close out the game. And instead, Edward Gaming... It ain't pretty, it ain't clean, but the job is done regardless. 2-1 victory over Thunder Talk. Leave had enough there, just flashes in and secures it. It was a slog, guys. It was. But the damage is done, and EDG earn themselves the victory from 0-2 to 2-2, beginning to get online. I don't think this is a series necessarily to be proud of, but the work gets done regardless. They win. That is what really matters in the grand scheme of things. Thank you all of you who are here. I'm going to run some ads. Subscribe if you don't want to get them. It does make a difference. There's a Ko-fi link as well if you want to donate to myself and Nymaera, who will be joining me for the next series. We have got BLG, JDG yet to go. Do not go anywhere, guys. The big ticket series of the day yet to come should be a banger. So do make sure you stick around and enjoy that with all of us. Look, I'm fine with people being disappointed, but no straight insults. That will be a ban. I see you over there. Genkuta, you don't say that kind of stuff. Please don't do that. Be disappointed. Don't be an asshole. Where's the Ko-fi link? If you get the Ko-fi, thank you very much, Harold. You'll be able to donate via that one. Thank you very much for those of you who do. Right. Time to go back to session, Diana. And I double bring up Huya. I can't get to the mute button. It's very weird. Anyway, there we go. Music back on this way. Try and avoid some of those copyright strikes. To mixed success, unfortunately. It's been a bit frustrating, that. And OBS. Down the volume a bit as well. Fine. Oh, right. I really need a bio break, guys. Tell me who gets MVP. But it was a very long game. And I need a wee. I'm not going to lie to you. Hey, Sam. Yeah, Harold. What's up? Oh, Harold already did that a couple minutes ago. But yes, I can play. Right. Excuse me. While I run to the bathroom, grab Alex, and we come back for our final series of the day.
Hello, you lovely lots. Who's ready for that whole thing? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, folks. I've kind of been lost in the schedule of LPL. Kind of forgot that it was D&D day today for us, but absolutely can do. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I've just messaged the group as well. Oh, cool. 9-game day.
Yeah. So this is why we're doing the whole like tap in, tap out thing, because it means that we get to do the best series together, but also not like. I'm not gonna lie, folks. If I'd done all 6 games of that quality, look, I'm down for a bit of a shit fest, but the first series, Sam, I can't believe it, Sam. The first series was still worse than the second.
The thing that this did the criminals. This had the criminal sin, Alex. The cardinal sin of being boring.
Yeah, and that was, look, the thing is, once it got to like the real late game of the first series, it was just kind of like clown shit.
Yeah.
like as soon as I just saw like Juhan and Game 2 go like 0-4, I'm like, you did just walk into a Nocturne, you know will kill you on full vision, walked in, died without even forcing him to flash. That was kind of like signs of the end, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, this work is still cool. Alrighty, we're gonna get ready for Series 3. It is the huge banger matchup, folks. This is going to be the huge one.
The big one.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna make some food.
Okay, cool.
We need to eat.
Got an interview on, so I'll leave you on for
I've
that
got
one.
Diana on at the minute.
也是恭喜我们 EDG 战队拿下本场的胜利。为大家采访到的是 EDG 的中单选手 Angel， 先跟大家打声招呼吧。
Hello， 大家好，我是 EDG 的中单 Angel。
欢迎 Angel， 恭喜你们啊，不容易啊！今天的这个3场比赛，其实对我们来说，赛场上好像很少遇到连续2天交手同一支队伍的情况。再次对阵到 TD， 相对于昨天的比赛内容，你觉得今天你们有哪些取长补短的地方呢？
我觉得相比我们，因为我们上把是赢了嘛，我觉得他们在吸取了昨天的经验之后，然后在阵容选择以及团队方面做得更好了一些。然后我们也在第一把输了之后快速调整，2-3把也拿下。
看得出对手对你们是有做研究来的，有备而来的啊。那昨天的比赛 ，Angel 的这一把沙皇，一把马尔扎哈，连续2把2连 MVP， 非常 C 啊，也让我们这个印象深刻了。那今天看到这个一开赛的时候，这个从镜头中看到我们 Angel 面带微笑，今天是以一个什么样的心情来参赛的呢？
就希望有个好的发挥，然后能完美拿下这场背靠背吧。当时是以这个心态。
那就今天比赛来看，其实并不是一边倒的情况，对手也有砍下一局。你觉得对面 TT 有给你们在哪些方面造成压力呢？
我觉得他们在边线的处理跟团战是给我们造成压力，就他们确实比昨天打的时候做得好太多了。
我们也聊一下今天的这个3场对决。第一局的时候，其实你们是有发力期的，但是第一局突然的一波31分钟，对面的一换5啊，直接高歌猛进推到了基底，那一波你们是不是处理上有一些小失误呢？
对，因为原本那波我想的不是就是要全部人过去动资源的，就是想先不让那边过来，先打点那边状态，然后结果当时意见不是很统一，然后我被开到了，然后就被一波了，
有点小遗憾啊，有点意想不到。但是第2局来说，Angel 这个阿卡丽是不是更得心应手一些了呢？玩的？
对，我觉得那把阵容我们主要是一个偏冲阵嘛，然后就选了阿卡丽，然后觉得还挺好发挥的。
这套阵我觉得可以说也是拿得比较得心称手的啊，称心如意的啊。那决胜局呢，前中期大家也是一直在玩天黑请闭眼的游戏，打的是十分僵持啊。就像我们解说说的，到了半小时的时候还分不清这个敌方和我方的一个局势啊。那最后你们是怎么找到最后的一个破局点呢？
我觉得主要是中期嘛，因为这把龙魂的节奏不是很快，然后我们在这中期就多发育，因为我们阵容后期比对面厉害，我们就多靠边线拆塔，然后导致我们后面装备比对面厉害，然后打团就很好打。
我觉得可能相对来说，年轻的选手可能更沉不住气一点啊。他们28分钟开始连续2波偷龙的时候，你们当时一个内通的反应是什么呢？
当时因为我们看那边阵容，觉得对面 打龙的速度很慢，然后就知道他们要开团了，我们就做好接团的准备就好了。
确实，这3局也是展现了作为这个老牌队伍的一个沉稳的实力啊。这赛季来说，我相信很多的粉丝对你们来说也是抱有非常大的期待的。那今天借着采访的机会，在最后也要不要跟我们所有的银龙骑士团的粉丝们表表决心呢？
就是，就之前2把输了 W1 跟 NIP 真的太可惜了。我们之后也就我们这段时间也做了很多的复盘啊，希望我们之后在面对的时候会拿下他们的。
那我们这个骑士团能不能扛住今年赛季的一个试炼呢？我们也把答案交给你们自己来谱写了，好吗？也再次谢谢我们的 EDG 的 Angel 选手来接受我们的赛后采访。那我们接下来时间呢，我们把画面交还给季东熙。
A quick chat with Angel. Let's switch back onto the old sessions diner and let's get locked back in ever so slowly. Back to our absolutely banger matchup, JDG versus BLG. This one is going to be very, very important. Now, I don't think anyone can really say JDG are coming in as favorites, but they've been prepping hard for this. They have Tabe as coach. BLG is still working out some pieces of their roster as well. There is an opening for them, and JDG are very much a top 2 team. They are. A top 3 team. They just beat Annual's Legend. They did lose to IG, a team which is kind of like their bogey team, so I hold that less against them, actually. Wait, the last train from the JDG arena back to the city center leaves in 1 hour and 39 minutes. They're not getting that. Oh my god, that's actually going to be a big problem. Yeah, once shows start going late, it does get to a bit of a problem, actually. Well, I need to catch up on the series a little bit, I suppose, but EDG somehow squeak away a win. They have not been nearly as good as I thought they would be for a team that kept a lot of that roster together from last year, who were very close to beating JDG in playoffs, actually, last summer. You know, they definitely felt like a roster that could have competed heavier than we had assumed. You know, last year they had everyone but Leave. Leave joined, of course, this year. Arn was the AD carry before, and Arn was not performing particularly well. So I would argue that, you know, Leave was meant to be an upgrade based on that form. Clearly, not as simple as that. Oh, Sam and I have got a little surprise for you, by the way. I'm waiting for him to get ready, but we've got a little surprise for you for the next series. Yes, end of Series 2. Hey, Makari, how's it going? LCK just finished? Hey, thank you so much for the raid. So we're getting ready for the real big one. Okay, I'll spoil a little bit of the surprise. Leave gets player of the game. I'll spoil a little bit of it. Because I remembered that I have a certain jersey. I have this one. I also have a certain other jersey as well. So, Sam and I, we're getting dressed up in our team colors after this. Funnily enough, sometime last year, I actually ran into someone with like a full BLG kit from last year. How was everything, by the way, Makari? How are things? How was LCK today? It was a telecom war, but I heard that it was, you know, a bit of a... You know what it's like. You know what it's like. My gosh, so yeah, next matchup up, folks, for those of you who just came in from Makari's stream, and again, welcome to you, how's it going? Basically, this is the huge matchup of the LPL coming up next, JDG versus BLG. The last time that this was a top-tier matchup was really 2023. That was when Knights was on JDG on that super team. And now this year, it's a couple of years removed. Most of the rosters that took part in that are gone now. No one from the JDG 23 roster is the same. But just seeing the logos of JDG BLG, it makes me remember back to those, 11 matchups they had across 2023? Spring, MSI, Summer, and then going into Worlds, and then I think I even played in Demacia Cup beyond that too, you know. It's a very special matchup to myself. It was my first year as an LPL caster, so that for me is the start of my LPL journey, JDG versus BLG. It's not the same anymore. It's very, very different. Honky has come in to JDG alongside Jinjia. Gala's their AD carry. Vampire new support to the top level of the LPL. And of course, even BLG have changed a little bit, you know. Knight now calls some BLG, has been ever since 2024. Viper joining this matchup for the first time as well. Oh, leave. Great auto attack in there. Turns out AD carries are meant to do that. But yeah, this is going to be a very special one coming up, folks. Particularly because I think that JDG should be a top 3 team. BLG are the best LPL team right now. However, that might not stay the case. I think as the year goes on, I think it seems like anyone's legend will ramp back up into the meta. I expect them to start a little bit faster, actually. But JDG, they have Coach Tabe, they have a lot of very talented players. They'll need to grow as a unit. I think their macro is a little bit iffy right now, and their team fighting is probably going to get pushed by BLG. I'm hoping they give us a good showing here. Well, there's one or two things. One, BLG are honestly dominant, destroy the top end of the table, give us thoughts about BLG domination for this year. Two, JDG give us a really good sign of life, and maybe we get ourselves a bit of a preview of what the matchups could look later into the year and how the top of the entirety of the LPL looks. Anyway, that's that quick preview. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I've got to get my coffee from the other room, leave you with the highlights, and be back very, very shortly for what should be genuinely a banger matchup, folks. Oh yeah, and if you'd like to see more LPL content and you enjoy this sort of thing, please please drop a follow. Drop a like if you're on YouTube as well. And if you see any clips, particularly from the next series, because it is going to be a big one this next series, if you see any clips that you enjoy, think about posting them on Twitter and Reddit as well. They're actually our biggest form of engagement, actually. They get huge amounts of views, and they let people know that we're around. Funnily enough, a lot of people joined from a lot of podcasts, which I was doing recently too, because it's actually very hard to get your name out there, quite hard to discover it on the old Twitch. And yeah, Nymaera, honestly, thank you for the raids recently. It's been very cool to kind of bridge our communities. Next time I actually see you online when I'm streaming, when my stream ends, I really do owe you a raid, absolutely. And I hope that your co-streaming also goes well too. So yeah, I'll keep my eyes open to see when you're. Oh no, I know, Victoria, but like, put it this way, I feel really bad when someone raids me and I can't raid them back, and it's just nice. Loving the LPL, well, more power to you, more power to you. I also love the LPL. At some point, probably am going to co-stream bits and pieces of LCK in the future. I think it's only the natural progression of co-streaming, but for now, you know, LPL is our purview, and yeah. I mean, the dream for this is that it becomes a self-sufficient channel. Sam and I can live off of it, you know, and then hopefully at some point as well, we can start paying mods and start getting content out and blah, blah, blah. And hopefully we can make it, because particularly the way broadcast is going is a little bit scary right now. Gonna put on another ad break just to make sure that we are completely safe for the next series. And then we'll get to it. Let me get that coffee and I'll be right back. Love the fact that there are almost as many women in the crowd as men as LPL, sometimes even more. It's pretty even balanced. Yeah, it's really cool. It's the demographics of LPL and LCK are actually very gender balanced, which is cool. Let's get ourselves into this matchup then, shall we? Well, there's going to be some stuff here. What is this? This is adverts, right? Oh, golden spatula stuff. So basically Chinese TFT. So JDG BLG, you know, ton of history to this one from the recent era of LPL. It really became a thing in, of course, 2023. It's a very, very different time. Let's change the music on, shall we? Sorry about that. Very different music, but yeah, we should be getting in towards seeing our rosters, and we'll introduce you to some of the players if you haven't been watching LPL as much this year. BLG, a team which you should definitely know and love, but JDG, a team which if you've not been watching regionally so far, or you haven't been catching up with the off-season, might surprise you to hear that, well, they may well be a top 3 team in LPL. We'll see if they can push beyond that. They beat anyone's legend just this last week. Xiaoshu, Junjie, Hongqiu, Gala, and Vampire. Only Xiaoshu remaining from that last roster, and BLG, the same roster as last year, well, not quite. Shun rejoining the roster, and Viper replacing Elk. A lot of what you will remember. Do you read YouTube? I do read YouTube, checkmate. I do. YouTube's been having a couple of problems recently though, and this is the key players, Hongqiu and Knight. The hotshot rookie coming into JDG from CFO from last year, the LCP rookie, versus Knight, the overlord of the LPL mid lane, and I think perhaps vying for best mid laner in the world again right now. This is the recent match record. It has been a little while since JDG has gotten the leg over on... Actually, hang on, no. Actually, no, thinking about it, last year, JDG actually had a pretty good matchup into BLG. I was thinking, oh, BLG, blah, blah, blah. But no, even with the Scout Pays roster, they were doing quite well, actually. No, last year, JDG were doing much better again. Scout was out laning Knights. Pays was going absolutely popping off. Highlighting the Zahan for both these top laners too. Sam will be joining us in just a second as well. We're very much looking forward to this one, folks. This is the 23 heavyweight matchup of the LPL back in 2026. And Knight, this is his, wait, is this Viego? Huh? Why have we got Viego stats for Knight? That makes sense. Oh, man.
He's got the highest win rate in the league, but on mid.
Probably because he's only played a handful of times, like in 21 or something like that. Oh my god.
I am indeed.
欢迎来到赛前采访，我是主持人洛欣。首先，我们邀请到的是北京 JDG 的上单选手小徐，你好。
大家好，我是 JDG 的上单小徐。
欢迎。那现在呢，比赛第一周已经过去了，
对于目前2对1
的积分和大家在赛场上现在的表现满意吗？
还算比较满意吧。
那回到今天这场和 BLG 的比赛当中啊，上路你和冰之间的对位，大家也都非常的关注。那在这个版本之下，最需要注意的是什么呢？
因为这个版本对线期拉的比较长嘛，就是多注意好对线上面的东西就好了。
好的，我们也期待你们今天的精彩表现。同样在这里，我们也请到了 BLG 的打野选手勋，你好。
Hello， 大家好，我是 BLG 打野勋。
好的，欢迎勋啊！开赛以来，你们是一路豪取4连胜，士气高昂。那你觉得大家对比其他队伍来说，有明显优势的地方是什么？又在哪些方面做得更好呢？
我觉得在交流和打团这方面做得更好吧。
看得出来默契都非常的好。那再回到我们现在这个问题啊，就是从你打野位的角度来说，目前这个版本之下，哪个时间段是你觉得必须要掌握节奏点的时间？
我觉得目前的话，在前期的第二个河蟹比较关键吧，因为这个河蟹会导致打野能不能升6，对第一条小龙的争夺会比较关键。
诀窍也分享给各位召唤师了。那接下来我们就期待你们在今天比赛当中的精彩表现。
We mainly listen to these for the people who speak Mandarin in the crowd. He's so adorable. Welcome in everyone then to our marquee matchup from 2023.
Alex?
Yes?
What are you doing wearing that shirt?
Well, Sam, you thought what I'd do is... I thought I'd take a side, Sam, in this historic matchup.
Yeah, but you
because
chose the wrong side, Alex.
Sam, for me, there must be a hero in the story. There must be a knight in shining armor, and I'm feeling like the white, blue, and pink today. Sam.
Hockey! Hockey! Sorry,
is
I need
this?
to interrupt. I'm sorry with that little bit of an intro because you forget your roots.
My roots.
You forget your roots. You know why? Because where did we start with League of Legends, Alex?
We started, you know, way back in LJL.
Yeah, what region is LGL now part of, Alex?
I think it's part of the LCP.
And you know who was the best mid jungle from the LCP last year, Alex?
I think Carcer and maybe no, it was Honky and John.
And who are they playing for right now?
They're playing for JDG.
Oh,
Sam.
that's right. They're playing for JDG.
I think that they're right there.
They're right there on stage.
They're right there. They are.
And
Oh
so
my
you're telling me you're going against your roots? You forget where you came from? Remember who you are, Simba.
Sam, that's all well and good, Sam. There is one clearly best player in the league right now. I think he could even be the best mid laner in the whole damn world, Sam. He's my knight. This is my BLG. This is the matchup which I am excited to see from the LPL. Top 3 teams battling it together once again. First time it's been relevant since 2023, and I think BLG are going to sweep the floor with JDG.
I think you're underestimating the bot lane. You might have picked up a Viper, but I seem to recall a certain player on JDG right now who's a bit of a bloody stud. Who was he playing for last year? He might have the Prince. The Prince of Pentas himself.
Well, you know, Gal.
You've got royalty, knights bow down to them.
Whoa. Gal is pretty good. Prince of Pentas, but Sam, let's be honest, his era was years ago.
Oh.
You know who was the best AD carry in the world last year, 2025?
Who is he?
It's a guy called Viper, Sam. It's a guy called Viper. Hate Chili, Viper Life Esports, changed everything for his team. Get out of here, adverts over there. Folks, welcome to BLG versus JDG. This is a very special matchup for myself as someone who came in to be an LPL caster in 2023. In 2023, when I first came into that league. And JDG versus BLG was the heavyweight matchup.
Yeah.
And JDG stomped BLG. It was not close.
they did.
However, then Knight moved to BLG, and it really felt like that was the new era of the LPL. BLG were the team to beat, and actually last year it finally became the case where they were beaten. They were beaten for the first time in such a long time. And now JDG have built again. They're relevant again. Sure, they lost Kanavi, 369 Harm. The super team is now gone. Even Missing left. He went last year. Tabe is there now. Brought in this mid jungle, which you said from LCP as well. Some exciting, I suppose, some less recognized players like Xiaoshu Vampire, right, too. I think JDG are relevant again, but are they relevant enough to beat BLG with this star-studded roster?
They annihilated their opponents last time. I cannot begin to tell you how good BLG were the last time we saw them. It was not close, and the solo lanes in particular were just better. I don't really have much else to say. Also, the fact that On is now back with Shun, they look like they understand each other so much more than On with any other jungler, and it really, really shows. Knight picked up the Akali, was murdering people left, right, and center in 1v2s. Bim was putting up most damage in the game on Sion and just laughing as he walked towards people. It was that kind of series, guys, and I'm hoping, for everyone's sake, that JDG are up to the challenge, because as it stands, the BLG we got in 2024, in 2023 is back.
Yes.
Is JDG back from 2023? I don't know yet, but they're certainly going to try.
Yeah. This is a very different JDG, and that's why, look, reliving 2023, for me, it's emotional, it's not analytical. It's not the same team anymore, it's not the same players. God, it's not even the same coaches, right? Tabe joining JDG for the first time. Of course, Tabe was on BLG on the other side of it. So we've got, you know, Tabe versus Knight, but that's kind of it, besides the other players remaining from BLG in Bin and On, of course, who are the other, and Shun, of course, too. Yeah. There are some wider picture things to this too.
Yeah.
This is a matchup which I'm going to use as a benchmark for where is the top of the league right now in LPL. How do they look in the meta? How do they look in terms of macro? Because I was just chatting about this actually during the second series with some people in my Discord. By the way, you can join the Discord if you'd like to be part of this Discord community a little more, and our community in general. I think that the LPL has a great place in the meta right now, Sam. I think that currently, with Atakan gone, with stuff like side lane skirmishes, jungle skirmishes being so important, things change. Into the draft, Sam, let's take it away.
And the shirts will stay on, hopefully, for some additional memes. But as it stands, hoping I don't end up on the KT side of this bargain. Monty, don't be cursing me out there. If you've ended up with the equivalent of the T1 side of the bargain, Alex, I'm going to be very upset with you. Either way, fans coming on through. Looks like, once again, as has often been the case here in the LPL, but not all the time, interestingly. Some people have chosen the other way around. Red side's going to get first pick. That means BLG will have chosen blue. Whether the Jace, the Ori ban, just don't give those up.
So the thing is, we have... So JDG are going to get first pick. Thank you so much for the bits, by the way. I just realized, please don't do that again with text. I don't want text-to-speech over this game. First pick, very likely to be the remainder of Varus or Rumble. I'd imagine one of them gets banned here. Unless BLG say you can only pick one. They do ban the Varus, though. I'd imagine Xiaoshu picks Rumble, and then Ben has to think about that matchup.
Yeah, I agree. And again, we've seen some good flexibility from the sides of BLG. I think their solo lanes in particular feel very confident in the current meta. What did get through bans, though, is the Malphite. That tells me BLG have an answer. Now, people like WE have tried things like the Trundle into this because the pillar makes it difficult for the Malphite to escape without ult, and you can steal his resists to mixed success. Some wins, some losses.
The other answer, the more, I would say, meta answer is Mundo. Mundo is the big answer into this. We don't have the Jace. You need to be very afraid now to pick a mobile mages, which Knight has picked a fair few of. You might think about going to something like the Akali, actually, if Honku allows him a good enough matchup there. Still thinking about the Rumble, still thinking about stuff like the Mundo. Mundo's there as the answer into the Malphite. What's happening with these real power picks, though? Yunara, Rumble, they could be locked in the next few picks. Again, that Rumble, I really expect that to go down here.
That's a fun hover, but I'll wait on that one. Of course, Honku is a bit of a Yasuo player now and then.
Sam, these are what we call hovers.
I know, but they're really fun hovers, Alex. And, you know, I think... okay. So IG banned the Azir away from Knight, and I was like, why are you banning this? And Knight's Azir has still been very poor. Okay, Yunara's a bit more safe.
Safe for now. Now, this is important, because the way that you counter Yunara is with stuff right now in terms of MF or Aphelios out of the remaining picks. Varus would be the other one, but that's banned. You can't play them into a Malphite. Malphite destroys them. So you pick the Yunara, even if the other side gets the quote-unquote counter matchup. Yunara can still play the game, but at least you have some answers to that Malphite. This is the option right here. We're seeing this meta evolution throughout the LPL. BLG could not pick the Aphelios themselves, therefore they could not allow the Yunara over, otherwise they'd be out without counters. You can see the mind games here. I do all say, though, I think on the whole, JDG getting a little bit the better of the first couple of picks. The feed's getting a little bit sharper here. We saw the Aphelios locked in. We'll jump forwards in a few seconds, don't worry, it's just Huya. Basically, folks, so many people are watching the clean feed, it starts to stutter like this. We'll see what happens with the Honku just after this and his pick here.
Couple debates to have around. You might want the Thresh now, or it's going to get banned away from you. It depends whether you feel like it's a necessary defensive tool, but it has often just been one of those ones like, if you don't pick it now, nearly guaranteed BLG will either pick it, because On's actually had a couple of fantastic games on it, or it just gets banned away. You don't want to give that up.
Yeah, there's also... Well, that's a good... I was wondering whether Lulu might also be something here too. They do lock in the Thresh. Now, how much fist fighting do Viper and On want to do? Do they prioritize a support right now? But think about the Renekton, and honestly, Renekton's pretty good here in terms of a self-sufficient laner. It would mean the Rumble would have gone through the full first 3 picks and bans.
Yes, true.
I'd imagine at that point, BLG think about banning the Rumble. It's, you know, it's fine for the Renekton matchup. Renekton is just very dominant. We're seeing a lot more of it, partly because early lane matchups are so powerful in the meta right now. Renekton's sort of back. Into the second rounds of bans, though, we're asking questions about that Rumble. I suppose mid lane is up and available too. I wonder whether JDG start banning away some of the more safe ones, maybe the more tanky ones like Ryze, maybe something like the Akali.
That's the one. Keep our eyes on those. And again, the Renekton has been special for a long time. The extra levels feel nice for Renekton. Renekton loves level leads if he can get them, and that always makes him feel a lot better. And he does tend to find some ways to make that happen. Welcome on in, everyone who's here for this matchup. I don't blame you for being here, guys. It's going to be a great time. And hopefully a little bit more energetic than our previous 2 series, which ended up being a little bit of a grind. K'Sante banned out.
No, that's fair, actually. In terms of the matchups which actually go even with Renekton, K'Sante's one of them. He doesn't get pushed, but he doesn't really lose CS from what we've been seeing, and Xiaoshu's a very good player of it. Now, there is something to be said maybe about banning Xiaoshu's Jax, actually, at this point. He's a very comfortable player on it, and it's one of the most banned champions against JDG as well. I believe it's banned in 50% of the games against JDG. Yep, overall 50% ban rate against him. We shall see. Right, Lulu is banned away from that Yunara, though. We were talking about support pool a little earlier.
Yeah, I was literally about to go there, because you're absolutely right. Because, again, lane priority for Yunara is a big one. Yunara doesn't bring a lot of sustain to her own game. She just doesn't have it in there. She doesn't really itemize towards it. Her runes don't allow for it, really, outside of a little bit of Legends Bloodline, which has been nerfed repeatedly over the years. So she can struggle in fights where she is asked to kind of sustain her way through when she's doing DPS checks. It can be a little bit risky. The last ban there is the Scion, double tank options. The Rumble is still up, I will note.
Is this going to be another support ban, or maybe one of the more safe mid laners? I mean, there are things like Sleer, Ryze. Now, maybe JDG think about the Ryze. It's a comfort pick for Honkyu. It allows you some extra ways to play out the macros. Pretty good at running away from Mundo too, bluntly. You just pop that passive in the phase rush and get out of that. So what do you do now? Do you pick your support, because you know the 2v2, allow counter pick in mid lane? Knight, I think right now, is by far the best mid laner in the LPL, and I think he's definitely top 5 in the world in terms of mid lane. I would go on Hook City. Are we going to get Thrash Crank lane? Oh, on JDG,
Hell
BLG,
yes.
Thrash Crank, Hook City in the bot lane.
Hook City! Right.
So, the whole point about this kind of matchup is, I think BLG know that getting the Ryze is definitely throwing at them now. The thing is now, Thresh and Blitzcrank can just randomly start a fight when the other team is not prepared for it. If Aphelios hates the Blitzcrank. Not locked into the Renekton. It's a well-traveled matchup, but I think Bin's happy with that. What are you doing into the Ryze now? Now, Azir has not been Knight's best pick in the first few games. I love seeing Knight in this current patch. I would much prefer this. Okay. It's dangerous into the Malphite. It is, but it is much better for Knight, one of the very best Syndra players of all time. We have our drafts for game 1. Both teams with a lot of pick potential. I think the engage factor definitely goes in favor of the JDG because they have a Malphite, because they have that Realm Warp to give that X factor, whereas BLG, brute laning strength. That is what we've known this team is very good at. If they win bot lane, if they win their solo lanes, this team is unstoppable. JDG must survive the early onslaught.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if I look at JDG, if it does get through to Mikum, if I took the nameplate off and I looked at these comps, I'd go, actually, I just really like JDG's comp. There's so many ways to play the game. You've got split push win cons with the Gnar, you've got a lot of CC, you've got fantastic scaling, you hit level 6, and there are so many immobile or risky carries who may struggle there. BLG have got some X factor, right? The Mundo into the Malphite can be terrifying. Knight's Syndra, the laning power is there, but I will say it's a harder draft to execute, I think, on paper.
Well, these are meant to be our 2 best teams in the LPL. If anyone is going to execute them, it should be these ones. Going to put on a quick ad break, folks. You don't get any ads in-game, importantly. So if you'd like to not have ads, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, folks. We've talked our way through the draft. I love that we have execution-heavy drafts. If anyone's going to pull them off, it should be these teams. Let's get right into it, Sam. BLG, JDG, promising to be one of those top-tier matchups.
Thank you again, Orca, for those 500 bits. Appreciate you throwing some support on myself and Alex over the last few days. I see everyone in chat. Please do get in, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Just hit over 10,000 followers. We're nearly at 10,100 actually, guys. About 70 followers over the last day and a half or so, which ain't bad going. Take that from all of you coming to come and help us out there. Push, push, push versus Rock Solid. I hear you. On to the roof we go. Jayo's first. The action comes just after. That is a very, very, very BLG-sided crowd. The JDG chat leader's not there, and JDG just weren't coordinated with the responses.
Perhaps it changes things based on how well they think the teams are playing. BLG 4-0. Knight getting player of the match in 3 of those 4 series. He has had 6 Player of the Game awards out of their 8 victories they have had. An absurd MVP rate in the games that BLG have had. He's on Syndra. He had one of his best games on that one. Okay, BLG. Early lanes, we're expecting a lot from them. Hooks versus hooks in the bot side. You'll notice that both teams put those wards into the bot lane brush. You can see that Gala and Vampire do get the early push in, but it's not like Viper and On are actually losing any minions there. It's a bit of an over push. All it does is control push on the bot side. It doesn't really deny anything.
Amazing stuff from Orca. Thank you very much for the additional bits for some of that entertainment value. Bin with a very good early shove here. You just have a bit more AoE than the Gnar early on. Of course, it is a well-travelled matchup, as we have seen. Eventually at the point where Gnar can start running you down with autos, gets a bit more difficult.
see here. Honky walking up to level 3. Use it. Farm. Hang on, that's second good. Yeah, you see, Knight really likes doing this, and he trades fairly evenly here. What he ends up doing is doing EQ combos rather than QE, so you punt them back into the landing spot of the Q, guaranteeing the EQ damage. Honky can look for the kill!
Flashes forward and solo kills him!
And Knight goes down just as we talk about him. This hotshot rookie from the LCP gets first blood against Knight Syndra. Knight doesn't have the teleport, has the ghost. Honky strikes first.
Great stuff from the young blood from the LCP, coming in as one of the very best rookies in the world. Comes to the LPL and just solo kills one of the greatest to have ever played the game. The golden left hand suddenly looking a little bit more silver.
Knight was very, very low HP. He had to back off from here, trying to get himself that Q on target. Doesn't quite realize the full kill combo. Awesome spell weaving there from Honky. Gets exactly enough damage, but the auto's involved too. The early laning, we said, was one of BLG's real specialties. Well, Knight's just gone down that. Honky did use the flash though, and that might open some opportunities later on while that summon is still down.
Dark Seal buy from Knight
Hang on,
regardless.
dive available
Dive Xiaoxu will hop. But again, this ain't the cha-cha slide. You only get 2 hops this time. We'll need to back away. Flash from Bin. Oh dear, Shun goes down to the turret shot. Ends up being a 1-for-1. Second turret shot not coming. Junja here.
Yeah,
Bin, a bit interesting.
Bin needs to get himself some rage. I don't think he can get it in time. Junja's gonna chase him down.
Flashes in and JDG pick up another.
Junja gets one. He gets one, and Xiaoxu ends up getting the trade for the other. Hang on, what the heck happened there in terms
Execute, I think, onto Shun, so he didn't get the kill over.
So actually, it still ends up being a 1-for-1 in topside. Junja didn't get the kill in time, so it ends up being that 1-for-1. So the gold, I suppose, even in that topside. Honky doing very well here in the mid lane. We were saying that, Honky's done quite well on his mage matchups. It's the other stuff which has been more problematic for him. Knight on the Syndra has been very, very dominant so far in the early games of the LPL, and we did just say no flash on the rise. Let's see if they can do something about that.
He's just walked towards the Blitzcrank as well. Honky, I think, is a dead man. There's a rocket grab available into a power fist. Knight scatters the weak. Honky trying to run away. Doesn't have enough move speed.
Lantern!
The heal! The heal! It's just about enough. The Lantern, the Flay, buying so much time. The Force of Will. Now Judge is coming down. BLG fumble the kill onto the side of Honky. Can they look for anything more? On will have his cooldowns back very shortly, but they don't secure Honky. Could roam up the river from Vampire.
Yeah, and Knight made a mistake there. He didn't go for the stun. He went for the EQ again. Tried to punt him into the guaranteed damage, but there was a full CC chain. Watching the dive here again. So what happened with Shun here? Did this actually count as the kill? So they got him there.
No.
Huh.
Execute.
It was the execute. I thought he'd get at least an auto on. Mistake there by Xiaoxu. Should have been a freebie.
Unfortunately, doesn't get that additional kill confirmed. Makes it a little bit more awkward topside. Again, not fantastic from BLG. When we talk about, look, this game, drafting for the early lane power, it's like how good they've been in the early game. So far in this game, I hate to say it, but they have been second best.
And JDG, they also have very good laning. This is the thing. We thought that actually JDG, their laning is one of their strengths. Now, we do see Bin is up in gold versus Xiaoxu. He got himself CS lead. Xiaoxu died with the crashing wave. Missing there. See that bot lane 10 CS lead for the Thrash Phelios. I think part of that is because On made the first roam from bot lane. Backplay there activates the aftershock, getting some damage onto him. Bit of a roam down from mid jungle. They do have a Realm Warp. They can go for a dive here with the level 6 Malphite.
Here we go. Remember, there's still that unstoppable force. Viper at level 5 gets knocked into the sky.
Vampire! No!
Still get the kill. Junja will die to the turret shot, flash away from On. Honky takes another turret shot. Can they look for more? Over comes Knight, looking for the scatter the weak. Lands the Q. Force of Will. Unleashes the power. Scatters afterwards. Shotgun blast. A Shun will throw a briefcase one way. We'll try and get that last auto, and the turret shot will finish it up. Not a great dive from JDG.
Vampire misses the hook on the knocked up target. Huge mistake by the newer support from JDG. He's had a bit of a rough entry to JDG. If you watched his last series versus Anyone's Legend, he kind of lost them a game versus them and had some rough games in there too. The laning was good, but we need to see more out of this support. He's definitely added an extra kill onto BLG's column there, I feel, from that dive.
That is a little unfortunate. Viper is also the one who comes away with a kill out there as well, which is nice for him after the turret shots do some work. Worth noting, still down that extra bit of CS, did die under that turret. All these things still remain true, but BLG now even up the kills, get ahead in the gold, a little bit more even the mid lane, and Bin is still really beginning to leverage his lead topside.
And also worth noting, Knight now has a 10 CS lead, and he picked up a kill, so he's basically even in gold again with Honky. So the first blood working out well for Honky. Also worth noting, though, that first blood used that flash, which has actually ended up getting him, pushed him out of lane that first time in River. That lost him the CS, ended up getting him killed in that bot side too. So actually, when we start looking at it in terms of, well, was it worth using that flash in the early levels? it's a bit more of an even trade now than we maybe would have seen from that first blood.
Well, Honky's now at least got himself some Mercury Tread, so additional move speed, plus the phase rush, plus the tenacity, very nice. On, looking for a roam mid. The tenacity doesn't help you into a rocket grab, especially.
Just again, confirming in chat, folks, I know that early top lane dive.
Yes.
Mundo was actually executed. That's why I was confused. Like, hang on, why at the top of the screen is it the kill count the way that it was? It was actually a execute, which I was very surprised at. And that Shao shoot didn't get that gold. Hang on, Lantern in towards the Dragon. So Dragon started up by JDG. They can get this. Again, it gives them some more options with macro later. Doesn't look like BLG contesting at all, though. Shin is on the other side of the map. He's farming up a Storm, as he will be. He's playing through his camps.
Valios at least is doing well in the farm store here. That's an even enough bot lane scenario. He has the flash. Viper has burned both of his summoners. Could be a little bit dicey here. On maybe able to find a pick off as Jun just coming roaming around, and On is going to spot out.
Oh, do they? No, they don't spot it just yet. And Viper doesn't have either sum, so they have Rise coming down. Knight, so Knight is coming down the river. Who gets hit first? There might be a round warp.
Yeah, they're going to try and run away. Does dash away. Epic of Ruin. Junja now in danger. Hooked under the turret. Lantern out.
Cancelled out by the knockup, though. The Power Fist. Can they get their extra CC? They do have the Malphite ult.
Martin comes the Moonlight Vigil. Can't get the additional ult until now, but it's still on, and they can't keep that Blitzcrank alive. Nice idea from On, but unfortunately for him, still ends up tanking a little too much damage.
Yeah, he already had the mark applied by the Calibrum, so he was always going to die when Gala ended up coming out of the CC. You can see JDG really trying to push down on this bot lane. One thing that we've really noticed about the early series from BLG and JDG, well, most of the LPL, and honestly the meta as a whole, if you win bot lane, the game becomes a lot easier. So Honky trying to go down with his jungler, say, okay, I can realm warp you behind the turret if I need to. You can do it yourself. Having the pushing lane really helps. Gala and Vampire doing a lot better this time. The Lantern helping getting Junja out to safety, but On not quite judging his safe margins.
Really nice there on the punish on the Lantern. I see what the thought process is. It's not like a complete fumble, just a slight misread on how much the target access the Flay would give the rest of JDG, but now look topside. They're going to try and return the favor. Elton Flash for the Ruthless Predator, the Dominus, the Scout of the Week, and Knight gets another.
Knight is applying pressure around the map the same way that Honky is. Both these mid laners understand the equation of mid lane in the current meta. Get yourself a lead if you can and immediately start spreading it elsewhere. Mid lane's role quest is actually the least important to complete on time. You get kills for Bin. Bin is now 800 gold ahead, and folks, JDG, dude put a lot of work into bot side. I think that's been a bit more even. Top side, I don't think JDG have been able to put anything into Xiaoshu's pockets. He's been left alone here, and now Bin is threatening to run over this game.
Yeah, he is. That 1,000 gold lead could be pretty scary into a very short-range composition. Let's see what he gets to do with it. He's going towards a Stride Breaker, by the by, with that Tiamat in inventory. There's a couple people who would love to be able to run away with their ghosts. It's not so easy when you're being stride broken. Yeah,
and particularly the Aphelios. If Renekton ever gets into melee range of you, in a lot of trouble. Now, there is peel there from JDG. You have the Lantern from the Thresh. You'll have the knockups and the Rune Prisons and what have you from the rest of the team. So Bin will have to choose his angles carefully. See Junja taking enemy Raptors. Knight's gone back for his first item. He has that Blackfire Torch, so he's going to be a little bit stronger than Rise before that Rod of Ages completion. Again, very even in this mid lane. Had that solo kill earlier from Honky, but again, cost him with the flash. Knight roaming bot side getting a kill, roaming top side getting a kill. Both mid laners come into play.
It is. Shun we've not seen so much from yet, but again, he's got that Heartsteel done. This is the Viego ad, guys. We're getting this now.
This is on every LPL stream, by the way. Yeah, enjoy the Viego skin, which, I mean, look, it looks really cool. There's some important stuff happening on screen, though. We do have junglers coming in here. Again, we did say, you know, the Mundo pretty good versus the Malphite. Malphite can really struggle in this matchup because he can't exactly stop him with his ults.
Yeah, and the Cleavers end up chunking Malphite out much more than you'd think. It's pretty good into tanks of the Cleavers, it has to be said.
Tapping on the rest of the map. On holding the wave out here for Viper. Viper now down 20 CS versus Gala. Again, the Thresh Felios getting a lot of value. The Blitzcrank, it's not been bad from On, I will say. No, On has had an exceptional first week. First week or two now, week and a half now. In fact, I would almost argue, no, in fact, I will say this. I think in the first week and a half, and I have caught up with everything else across the world, I think On has been the best support in the world for the first couple of weeks of play. The way that he flipped matchups has been exceptional. This guy has been really, really good, not only judging his laning matchups, but then also going across the map, making game-changing plays. Look over the wall there from Vampire. Not landing. So, and part of the reason why it is so important to track how our On does is he uses the winning bot lane so well. He keeps the enemy support in lane when he's winning. So JDG, what they need to do now is, again, try and keep On down in the way that he's done that to people like Kyle just the other day. Numbers of others across the LPL.
Eyes on Gala's itemization, but we are seeing a lot more Stormrazor on the Aphelios first. It feels like when he feels like he just needs to get burst and he's not sure he's going to be able to get loads of DPS now. The Stormrazor burst is good, and we got the top side on's here.
Oh, that's a mini gnar. That's a mini gnar. He's going to have to flash.
Okay, well, they'll try and turn this around. Bin just gets CC'd. Will probably die here. Decent healing, though, means no! He gets Dominus, and there's the Scout of the Week on! Won't fall. Either, both fall. BLG execute the dive. Well, bot lane, though, Severin Crescendo ensures that that turret does fall in trade.
So JDG are taking plates in mid lane, take the turret bot lane as well. It's good that Viper gets donated the kill, because in an individual matchup, he would have started falling behind. In fact, you'll notice that the bot lane role quest just got completed by JDG as well. That's partly why the big gold lead in bot lane is so high. Viper will need to complete his quest, and then he'll get the extra lump sum. However, what BLG have said, and this is quite similar to the Weibo series, actually, in the first game of that series, they are really trying to invest in Bin. Even though the overall gold trade is probably in favor of JDG, the top lane matchup is now unplayable. Bin is so far ahead that perhaps we can see vintage Giga Bin. You know, we're talking about this JDG BLG matchup. He really was the highlight of it. Him versus 369 back then. He was on the losing side of it a lot, but Bin, what a carry he can be from ahead.
Dragon is up. JDG are going to start it. Nymaera now roaming down the river. Are we going to see? I think unlikely with Knight heading top lane and no teleport. So I'll just clear out mid lane and try and get that shove on through. It's worth noting, of course, for the JDG to get those turret plates because they don't fall off anymore. In some ways, you can recover that gold later on into the game, assuming you get access to those turrets. So sometimes the turret plate gold that used to be sometimes very one-sided isn't necessarily the case anymore with the way the meta works.
My problem with that is, yes, you can recover that gold, but you have to get through the Renekton to do that now. He's now 1.4k up. He's got that first item, Strybreaker into the Gnar. It's a very impactful item. So you need to make sure that this game doesn't become about Bin. Now, you need to peel well from his team fights. If you get a good dive on him and start shutting him down, maybe that could be an answer too. JDG definitely have the tools to win this game, though they are actually behind 1k gold now from the early game rotations. Gala is strong. Honkyu is strong too. JDG do have the tools, but if they lose one big fight, I feel like in either direction, I think we're getting to the point where the straw's going to break one of these camels' backs.
To clarify, I was saying JDG got a lot of plates, and BLG
Sorry,
can get that gold back.
Sorry,
because,
my bad.
Which I'm aware. I didn't phrase that super clearly because you're absolutely right.
No, you're absolutely right, because in fact, JDG were the one pushing the two turrets. You're absolutely right, and they're still ahead in gold. So the standing gold is there. You're completely correct.
So Gala is strong, and in fairness, investing in the Aphelios does feel very good. You've got the Lantern behind, you've got the front line, you've got the CC. Theoretically, Gala with a Mega Ult can just mash this game. The Nymaera and the Syndra can still die. And Mundo, for all you can sustain through a fair amount, Aphelios up 3 to 4 items will still just eviscerate you. It will not be a fun experience for the Doctor from Zorn.
Yeah, Shun, he has a good matchup into Junja. He's not really pulling ahead in it. He's doing fine for now. He's had decent kill participation. You can see that Junja insta-clears that Raptor can. Nothing to fight around. Well, yes, on, but also, you know, you got the move speed, and he's fishing for just those random hooks. He does have the flash to start something. He has the agency right now, and sometimes just holding on to that hook can be better than casting it.
Just got slowed by the Arc of Judgment. They still got to know he's there, right? Gala gets knocked up. There's the Lantern. They finally get the flame. He's gone. You knew he was in there.
They did, but the threat of On still persists. What did we say? The threat of not casting the hook is sometimes much stronger than actually using it. He comes out of the dark. Gala gets shut down. It's another kill to Viper, I believe, there too. Basically evens up the gold. BLG spring into action. They get that Herald, and now JDG are looking at, you know, BLG starting to claw ahead in terms of combat power. They really need the next dragon fight to go in their advantage. If they don't get the next dragon, I think BLG will really start raking them over the coals. So what happened here? I actually think Viper baits this, you know. I think he baits in that, oh, you're going to go and try for the splash damage from the Inferno. I think that's intentional by Viper. Baits in Gala, and they should know that you're not able to grab that Lantern for free. You can't click it while you're silenced anyway. Very well played with the mind games from Viper and On.
Really, really clean stuff. Viper gets himself a second kill. It helps get him a gold lead now against Gala, who had been allowed a little bit more license from all the attention he got in the bot lane. Not the case anymore. Everyone's got their role quest complete, by the way. That's why we can now see who's got the Herald and the Grubs, which is BLG for the record. So they've traded those top side objectives for the 2 dragons that JDG got earlier.
That could be a real issue for JDG, because they have very powerful individuals now, particularly Bin, but I think that Knight going up towards the 2 items is also, interestingly, gone for the Swifties upgraded. He's not gone for upgraded pen boots, upgraded moat treads. He wants just the raw movement speed, so he can get around the map a little quicker. Look how fast he is just in base movement speed. Crystallize comes in, Herald down too. This could actually, well, it's not going to be full turret, I don't think, but it's going to be close.
There we go. Back away. Out comes the Herald charge. Should be a fairly decent chunk, but not the entirety of it, as you said. Don't want to get too much more, but I don't think anyone wants to walk up to it and defend, especially with Mundo blocking the CC. Yeah.
3 grubs. I thought that they'd be able to just jump in with the Malphite ult, honestly, but that's not the way it works out.
Mundo still have passive. It would have been a bit risky, I guess.
Yeah, and if you don't catch everyone, one of the carries will kill you. That's a 2-item Nymaera, Sam. Yes, I know that the FLS is going towards the Infinity Edge, but you know, the Fiend Hunter bolts, this is one of the reasons why Nymaera has jumped up in value again. The 2-item spike is cheap, and it is damn effective too.
Yeah, it is. Because basically, between Kraken Slayer's 3-hit passive and Fiend Hunter bolt's first 3 orders,
oh, maybe hang on, there might be a Realm Walk coming out
here.
here. Do they see him?
They
He
do
does
now.
have Ghost, he does have Flash.
He's going to throw up the Ghost. He's still got the ability to potentially flash Scatter the Weak and does so. Needed to burn it as Junja was looking for that very short-range unstoppable force, but now Knight down the Flash. Vulnerable in a side lane. One of Syndra's long-term flaws into people like Malphite.
I wonder whether Knight goes for a Zhonya's second and tries to play the Zhonya's bait. Now, we saw one, honestly, my favorite team fight of the last, well, definitely this year, but one of my favorite ones, honestly, of all time. Rookie did a game-winning Zhonya's bait on Syndra against Junja's Malphite in the IG series, which won them game 1 of that series. By the way, if you didn't watch IG JDG, absolute cinema. It was wonderful team fighting. And I have to say, JDG, that series has given me some worries about their team fighting. Dragon spawning now. JDG, I did say, oh, they need to take this next dragon. They can also choose to not take it and look for it, but of course Junja just used his ult looking for a play off the dragon timer. JDG will give this up, they won't get soul point, BLG deny the earliest possible soul opportunity.
Knight has picked up an ult, an actuator, and has got 8 stacks and a Dark Seal, so it's raw damage from this man as ever. That'll be Shadow Flame into Medjai's probably knowing him.
My dude's got soul magic damage duties on this team, so he's going for the magic pen. Now, obviously, there are some weird things with Syndra and Shadow Flame in terms of you actually lose quite a lot of effectiveness of the Shadow Flame once you get your ultimate execute at 100 stacks, because like 10% of the HP bar is actually just irrelevant, you know? So you can't crit on that HP. However, just getting the flat pen is what... Hang on, they could jump straight onto Junja. He might see him in the fog of war.
Oh boy, well, that's a very dead Knight who did not expect there to be a Malphite in that bush. On will come on over, but a little disrespectful from Knight, and he dies.
Yeah, not a safe path. Knight gets taken down, and well, that's one of the worries about going for that full damage. It's a good kill. Junja uses the ult. That ultimate haste is stacked up by that Zeke's. BLG falling... well, they lose a fair amount of gold there too, actually. It's not bad from them.
Honky's going to be able to get a lot of this bot side turret as well. Can't quite get the second plate, but the wave crashed in. That gets a 20 CS lead for the Rise, who is just the better side laner than the Syndra.
Yeah, especially when you've got the Malphite in your back pocket. Mundo can't exactly run at you in the same way. Well played from JDG, good vision play. You know, we've talked about BLG having strong individuals and all this stuff. But JDG, we're looking to see how their macro and their vision game increases. Because honestly, I don't trust Vampire on that right now. That's something he's going to have to level up. Something he'll have to learn from Tave. How quick will he learn that? How effective will it be? That's the kind of thing which we're tracking with series like this, because you want to bring out your A game for these series. These teams prep very hard for their top tier opponents. Right there, I think Junja was really calling that play. Helps an awful lot to get those odd picks, which just cuts some of the momentum which BLG were building.
Well, it's gone. They're actually only 100 or so gold ahead. To the extent where we no longer see a gold lead on the side of the screen telling us the difference. It's now up to 0.3. There you go.
Yep.
That's not really a gold lead. That is effectively an even game. You did stop the dragon stacking to BLG, and again, you've still got the issue that the grubs and the side lane can be dangerous. That's a Mega Gnar. It won't really lead to very much there.
And this is why, again, like, there are some things outside of the gold lead, of course. I think scaling will come into the question at some point. I think you could argue JDG scale better.
Rise of Phalios, yeah,
Rise of Phalios, although I think that can be a bit of a muchness. You know, I think that when you've got players like Viper on Nymaera and hang on, he's hooked him over. They do have a lantern, it should be fine.
He just takes that lantern. There we go. Went looking for something. They don't really have the damage there, it must be said. But still, hook is a hook.
Potential hook onto on.
I don't have his rocket grab.
Sure about that.
Look at this. There's the Mikhail, there's the thing I'm looking for. Forgot the name of the ability for a second. Few ultimates broken, but no one dies.
Hang on, Honky popping that Ghost. He has Flash. Stunned, threatened by Knight. Was just on cooldown, though. He did use it, of course, onto the Malphite. Not a bad hook trade there for On, using the breadth of his HP bar. Again, we are at the point now with Vampire, where hang on, Vampire's got out here.
Something a little bit more. Flash for the procket grab into the hook. Vampire's having a bad time. Junja on the back line, though. Gala trying to DPS as On steps on forward. Shun, damn scary. Xiaoshu forces some away. They've lost Knight again. 1-for-1 as it stands.
Yeah, it's a bit of an overstay from Vampire, who's caught out on the warding mission. Again, one of those skills we're checking from him, but the clump punish was very good from Junja. Junja's having a solid game on the Malphite right now. Ends up being that 1-for-1. Knight goes down again.
I want to note, Viper burned his flash and his cleanse as well. That means Junja's ability to threaten him is significant. significantly higher. You've got flash on Honku. That means you can definitely look for a flash Rune Prison on top of the Unstoppable Force. Yunara has always been incredibly summoner reliant, because if she doesn't have them, her ability to dodge is somewhat limited.
Yeah, so Shun just walks at Vampire. The stun initially misses, tries to flash out, but the Power Fist happens. And of course, there's no flash hit. Viper does get caught in it too. But comes through. No, nothing really to be played there from Knight after that point. Can't even get his ultimate out, which, well, I suppose he could have potentially looked for an ult into Gala if he gets slightly further into range. Good punish there from Junja.
And Garland's gonna be a little bit annoyed that his Mega Inferno Bomb caught on and then not the backline that they were trying to dive onto, so just catches someone in the way, unfortunately. Can't get the splash quite as cleanly as he might have liked. Otherwise, I wonder whether Viper might have been in a touch more trouble. Either way, the gold remains next to dead even. We have got a dragon fight in 50 seconds. I wonder whether we're going to see a contest.
Let's see, because again, you know, BLG, they're probably going to look... Well, Bin hasn't got... The big thing is, Bin hasn't been in a fight yet.
No.
Bin has a 2,000 gold.
So scary.
So while it looks... I think it looks fairly even across the rest of the map. Bin's not done shit with his 2,000 gold lead yet. Now, he can do. He has 2 items. This guy is scary as heck. This guy could potentially just one-shot Gala, and we talk about, you know, summoner stuff. There was a flash up on Honku and Gala, but no ghost. If you get hit by a stride breaker, I don't think the flash saves you, actually. He's level 16. He's 2 levels up over Xiaoshu. BLG put a lot of resources into Bin, whereas JDG put more resources into bot lane. Bot lane is still fairly even. Top lane is anything but that. Jump onto mid lane, catching on.
Can you get anything done with the silence? No, he can't. The static field, unfortunately, turns into straight static on the radio. There is no operator there anymore. They have killed off the support.
Hang on, Knight was looking just around the corner. Now, they don't have Malphite ult. They just used that. Now, Dragon's coming up now. On is going to be dead for 20 seconds. It will be a 4v5, but it's a Malphite without ult. Knight hanging out in the fog of war. Maybe trying to look for a pick. Where is Bin?
Okay, so they drop the CC off immunity.
He's in the back of it. Oh, they don't spawn him at all. He's going to be full rage. No ult on Junja. Who do they look to one-shot?
Can be anybody here. There's a slice, there's a dice, there's a lot of trouble. He's trying to get onto Gala, who immediately flashes away. But where do you go? He's gone. You called it already. He's a dead man. The force is unleashed. The dragon is secured by Shun. The fight after is dicey. Viper does fall. Bin's still got a lot of rage to work with. Hop away from Xiaoshu is good. Flash on forward to death sentence is phenomenal. And now JDG with the man advantage. The lantern away. The flayback. On respawn. Shun flashing on forwards. Eat briefcase. And some blunt force trauma. Xiaoshu with the Mega Nard. The double wallop. The hook. But it's only onto an Nectar. No one super valuable. Knocked him as he hops over the wall.
Can they go behind the... I think they could just go behind the turret. Mundo. Push. Push. Push.
Oh, Xiaoshu. There we go. He's got a lot to work with. We'll throw down a defib or two. There's the hook. Xiaoshu should get up, but no. Slice, dice, and a stride breaker. And in the end, BLG win the team fight with a few respawns assisting them along the way.
BLG put the resources into the Renekton. Well, and Renekton, that bank, that investment pays back. Gigabin, insanity from the value they put into him. JDG lose the dragon. They lose the fight. Every single one of them dies. BLG, I think they lose 3
They do.
kills.
Knight, Viper, and on to begin with.
Yeah, and then, of course, Jungle, top lane survive through it. BLG gain a bit of a... Well, okay, all right, we're fully sending it now. They even get themselves the teleport shield from Bin. The blue trinket comes out. I mean, Xiaoshu is dead, and he doesn't have teleport. They're not going to have the nut. I guess we're full sending it. Junja can ult into the pit. They can't well keep him away. Do BLG look for the turn?
He's unstoppable. It's in the name of the ult. Can look to get in here. It will be a flip. They may look to turn. Where is the hook? Where is the blitzcrank?
Oh my god, they're gonna go for it. Junja's gonna go for it.
He steals it! I mean, what do you expect? He's there. He presses R and the D key. R and D. The research and development comes up with the creation of a Baron Bomb.
Junja, welcome back to the LPL after winning Worlds 2021 and says, I'll have a Baron as a welcome present. BLG. Start of the Baron after an exceptional dragon fight, and the game goes really, really in their favor after a while, but then they try and go for the whole 9 yards. Bin, we talked about his power. Everything is about this Renekton, and he goes into it. Gala has to flash away from the stun. Very well played from Knight to time it, so Gala has to flash away. So that means that Bin gets a free play afterwards, imprisoned after that point. You can see that, you know, they're all caught in the pit. They all just pile back onto Knight after that point, because Knight's trying to get himself into the play. Not really get himself out of things. He didn't have the flash just up for that fight.
BLG just stands for Baron Lost Gaming. I don't know what to tell you about the secret, because they done all the hard work.
Look, last year, folks, BLG had some issues with late game. Junja has started to make them relive a few of those nightmares again. He just ults in. He just ults in. Goes down to 90. It's an early smite. In fact, guys, Junja doesn't even smite.
No,
Junja doesn't smite. It's Shun's smite that brings it down to 94 HP. He smites early, and Junja picks it up from that, so a miskeyed smite from Shun.
Oops. Well, that ruins the momentum somewhat. Well, BLG still have a gold lead.
Yeah, there's that.
But the ability to hit the accelerator goes a little lower. Flash from On doesn't land, that's to play it back alongside the unstoppable force. I think On's in danger, but is he the best target? They burned on the Blitzcrank, he's burned his abilities. Shun now pretty scary as he's managed to maximize his dosage, throwing out some of those infected bone sores. Won't lead to anything else. No one dies.
Yeah, that's a poor ult there from Junja. Hang on, where's the vision control? They spot Shun, Honkyu there. Shun is really quite powerful here. Stun onto Gala.
Oh my god, that Mega Inferno bomb is pretty damn scary. The Moonlight Vigil empowered with that particular gun nearly takes On's life.
Mega Infernum bomb.
Sorry,
excuse
right.
me.
I'm sorry, you're right.
The pun's gotta be there,
Correct.
Sam.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Ain't no little yordle. Well, there is. In fact, there is a little yordle.
There is.
You know, it's got to differentiate.
Right
Xiaoxu going to use the Baron buff here. The Baron power play was actually negative up until this point. Xiaoxu getting some gold back. BLG, does that Baron start? The boldness of it, does that cost them? JDG, they have to thank Junja. Junja has had an excellent game here on the Malphite. He's had some mixed success on this champion, some good, some bad. This one has been a much better game from him. This Malphite has kept JDG from falling into the abyss.
I do not know where this game goes from here, which is fun to say, because let's be real, both teams have made some fantastic plays and have been caught a little bit with the hand in the cookie jar, to say the least. Dragon spawns in about 25 seconds. It would be sole point for either team. BLG have claimed the last two, but it hasn't been an easy thing to do.
Yeah, the Baron buff obviously helped JDG get control of the map. They haven't got vision into the enemy jungle just yet. Honkyu does have level 16, so his combos do even more damage now. His EQs, that overload combo. So we're looking for the Malphite ult, comboing into the big stuns afterwards. Can BLG get themselves a flank for Bin? He doesn't have the teleport just yet. Well, last time he used it was for that Baron. Shun. He can walk in, and he can start contesting this, though. Again, those bone swords do a fair amount. Bin has flash. Okay, who doesn't have flash? That's more important. Most people have it.
Stock options, says Shun, as he starts to show them exactly why he is a consultant here. Dragon started. Honkyu forced away, though. Not the easiest angle again. Does have the realm up. Bin on the flank angle.
Bin into the back.
I
don't think they see him again. I don't think
the
they see
same
him
spot.
again. Hang on, do they?
They don't know.
They don't know. He's got to be putting up his ult. I think he's just taking damage from the dodge. That's the dodge!
He's on to Gala. Needs to run away. Where's the Lantern? Gala finally survived because of a good play. Bin with the GA brought down into it, but he's still got a second life. Bampa had to flash away. Knight flashing, looking for the angle, can't quite find it, throws out the force of will. The Mega Nara to the wall, unleashes the power. Junja survives, shouts the back end with a scab of the wing over the wall. The moonshot goes wide, but the CC onto Mundo. Business venture folds.
Bin can't quite get the one shot. They're still fighting over the dragon, but they don't have the smite. It'll go to JDG. Much better team fighting from Jingdong Gaming. Knight was zoning out Gala, but honestly, Xiaoxu going forwards makes the difference there. Knight tried to get the one shot. At least he managed to stop some of the damage, but Gala already had a turret down. He managed to get that mark out onto it, and Gala finally gets to bring some damage to play.
Oh, it was so close. Knight couldn't quite get in range to kill people, having flashed over the wall. Bin nearly has the perfect return angle onto Gala, but
Bin does
everything else.
But Bin does really well here. But I think the rest of the team is backing off from Junja's engage, and Bin doesn't quite get the clean engage. There's a couple of really important things here. He gets himself the W, and then the shield comes through, which means that Gala has a lot more HP to work with. On misses his hook as well, does not get the hook onto the CC target, despite flashing to get it. Jumping now onto... Wow, hang on, that's just a Viper. Yunara's gone.
Well. 45 seconds until the Baron comes up. That will be while Viper is dead. 4v5 with Baron available. I think JDG are looking like they're going to have this game at this point.
Bin, his influence is starting to fall off now. Honkyu, Gala, absolutely not. BLG, that Baron throw, it was a realm up. Honkyu, he's also had an exceptional game. Honestly, folks, this game has been run by the CFO duo from last year. I don't think they've had the easiest intro into the LPL. Junja's had some bad games. So has Honkyu as well. They've had a great one here. Let's be honest, against what we assume to be the best team in the LPL, that's exactly where you want to be landing those good performances.
Before making a call around Jingdong, the Wisp is dead, but you know what? She had alongside some flying
stun.
oysters apparently this time around, looking for a bit more damage. Xiaoxu low, hook to minion, death sentence in turn, Junja over the wall. Not the best angle as they flash away. Shun in the front line is a bit of a menace though. The multi-man scatter the weak. Viper coming back up again, death sentence just wide. Another briefcase. Lantern comes on down. hook just wide.
Excellent impact from Knight there. Gets a couple of stuns, which force JDG to retreat. Reminder, folks, Baron is alive. If a big fight happens, Baron is the prize of that. Shun passive, I believe, is back up. Looking to... Yeah, it is indeed. He's going to start running at them.
Boy, and that gets dangerous. Another Lantern, though. Buys some time. The health bars are looking fantastic. A reminder, Baron's up. BLG could just return and try and do it all over again. Junja doesn't have flash. Will have ult in 8 seconds. They're going to do it.
I think they might have to. Yeah, I mean, the ult's going back up. They're going to go for it again. Surely the smite's better this time. It's going down quickly. Junja does have ult. This might be another just Malphite Baron steal angle.
The grill is on. The flip is occurring. Which way is the burger landing this time? Scout of the Week denies the flip. Much better defense from BLG. What about the turnaround after? Xiaoshu's TP'd in. Has got that incredible shield. Bin slides over the wall. Shun will make sure his dosage is maximized. In they go. They get the hook.
It's gone.
Junja is eviscerated. Blasted. The shotgun blast just wide. Xiaoshu building towards the Mega. Rune Prison on top of Bin. Needs to slice away, but there's a death sentence. And so the top laner dies. Xiaoshu with the Mega now can't get over the wall.
It's still a one play for BLG. They managed to get 4 out with the Baron buff, unless there's a hook out of Fog of War. JBLG end up getting the objective they were looking for this time. Good stun from Knight, stops the steal coming in through from the Malphite. I wonder whether he should have just gone through the back of the pit again, but wanted to make sure he could maybe look for the fight instead. Baron on 4, BLG supposed to stop the bleeding at this point. They were falling behind. They needed to make a play like that. JDG do have Soul Point. Dragon coming up in 2 minutes. It would be Soul for them. JDG throwing some magnificent punches in this game. I think that their CC chains have been largely very good. They do need to be very careful, though. You do have 120 stack Knight. I know he's down 2k on Honku, has been given a lot of farm in the side lane, but this Syndra, we saw what happened. One shot the Malphite. If he is caught by the hook, the Malphite will die, and your engage goes with it.
I think people sometimes forget that mid lanes can get away with the Swifty boots a bit easier. Because reminder, Swift marches the upgrade, gives you more damage, reminder. At this point of the game, it's beginning to show just that little bit. Crit Bloom as well, it gives a lot of ability haste alongside the Blackfire Torch, so one of the things with Syndra into tanky matchups, the more you can W, the better damage you have.
So most of both sets of teams have reset now. One of the big things about that last play is that JDG had stayed out on the map for a while, punished when you're walking back. BLG found their window. Okay, Honku has his ult back up again, potential of Realm Warp plays, particularly if someone's out of position. You see that Viper is actually shadowing Knight in this bot lane. Again, the Huya feed getting a little bit choppy. That's on their end. That's not on ours. In fact, you can see actually the player cameras. Oh, they're starting with it too. Too many people watching the game, folks. Makes it a little bit harder for everyone to see this. Juttering about a little bit. BLG setting up for the dragon. And they're in the river first.
And just a bit of slow-mo to watch Knight clear some minions, baby. That's how it should be. There's a little speed up. I think this bot lane turret will fall again. BLG got a lot of standing gold to get towards. Claim 2 turrets. That will be their 3rd now.
Yeah, Knight ends up getting a decent amount of gold from that, about 300, 400 from taking that bot lane turret. Bin is still very strong. The question is he strong enough to actually one-shot someone at this point?
Would you look at the time? Dragons here.
BLG, they have the vision blackout. I think JDG have made a mistake by giving them all of that. But there is the potential of flash ults. Knight does have both summoners. There's a Realm Warp as well. How much can Knight do here? He's just spotted on the blue trinket. They spot him. Get the Mundo passive. Knight's flank seen for now.
Xiaoshu nearly at Mega has tracked his rage well. Don't have a Hulk skin. I don't think he'd like Nala when he's angry. I'll tell you that now.
On the flank. Honku's actually scouting out for Syndra, but he's gone back into the corner. Oh, it's the flash right from Gala. That could be huge. Bin pops the Dominus. Here comes Honku.
Can look for it as well. Knight gets scanned. We get stolen by Syndra EQ! Alongside some spice. Into the play we go. Bin slicing, dicing onto Gala, keeping him busy. Honku also trading around. It's going to be some full contact team fighting as Honku flashed onto, tries to escape, will not. So it'll end up being solo lane trade. The Realm War!
Honku makes it out! BLG secure the dragon. It's not soul for JDG, but they do it without losing a man. The heist, not without its own loss for BLG. I think Bin knows it's a one-way trip. He dies to Gala. JDG do have the 4v5 on the map now, though.
Takes the one-way trip. BLG can't quite return the favor on the other side. We are going to have 2 minutes 30 until Baron when we do it all over again, folks. Keep an eye on those summoner spells. Things like Rise not having the flash may be important.
And also Gala hides out in the fog of war, gets Gala's flash, and that opens up a lot. He can't walk up. He's so afraid of the EQ. The EQ steals it from the Syndra, comboed up with the smite. Syndra in late game, we said, look, 2k behind. Who cares? It's a Syndra at this point. Basically, then both teams say, look, we're not going for the full-on fight. We're dealing with the one person separated from here. Knight gets the stun over the wall. Ashen flashes as well, but then he realizes, hang on, there's no CC left. Everyone's gone there at that point. Back into live. Knight, he's been forced to flash.
On's in danger as well, but he doesn't have that much to work with. Will flash away. He's got the blast cone just out to safety.
Oh my god, that's close. He's looking for the hook as well. That is greedy on, but I appreciate the look in. Both summoners down from Knight now as well. All of the carries flashes. basically, besides Knight, are down. Honkyu has a Ghost. That's all he has to offer as well.
Every summoner put Viper.
So they were looking for a pick. It's actually Junja who ends up finding it instead. Good flash away by Knight. Worth noting he does have the Seekers now, so we can look for those golden outplays, and the same with that rookie showed us just last week.
Problem is, because they failed that little pick, they are now the ones without vision control of their own blue side jungle. They have to fight their way through quite a lot of dangerous pick into JDG side. Eyes on Gala's inventory. That is a QSS.
I was about to point that out myself. Now, that doesn't work against Ye Olde Blitzcrank hook. It technically also doesn't work against stuff like the Power Fist too, so if On gets in range, there's a chance of a flash E. A bit harder to pull that off. The Cube, that's what you're looking for. And, you know, On, his impact's been muted a little bit because JDG did put so many resources into bot lane. Bin, level 20 now, definitely helping out his case for his power into the late game. But then again, he is still a Renekton in late game compared to a Gnar in late game. The Gnar tends to have more value.
Yeah, he's got the Randuins himself. He's only at 3 items. That's still pretty good with the Starix stuff there as well. Mega Gnar value is very, very high. Eyes on Shun's inventory as well. He's got 4 items, including the Protoplasm, the Randuins, the Spirit Visage.
That is true.
It's not easy to get through even with things like this Gala build, but he doesn't have a Lord Doms, right? There is no anti-tank on Gala right now.
Ah, he does have that Lord Doms now, actually.
I just picked it up.
He
Fantastic.
actually just has that, so good that you mention it. It's on the mind. 20 seconds till Baron. Next Dragon will be the soul for either team. We're watching about the macro now. JDG largely pushing in across the map. Largely better vision control, including a ward deep in mid lane. That could end up leading to a Realm Warp play, like we saw Kill Viper earlier.
Eyes on Honkyu's in. Speak of a Blighting Jewel, but has an Actualizer and a Death Cap. This is about as much damage as a Rise can possibly put out.
Okay, now watch for this Fog of War. Vampire hanging out in it. Shun can face check because he has the Mundo passive. He's been doing that the whole game. Remember, that Realm Warp could lead to some extra plays. There's still no flash on Knight.
He has to be very careful. Scouts are weak, trying to play at the max range. Don't blame him. There goes that passive.
Yeah, they end up getting it. So BLG get the Scuttle Crab. That's important. See, that Knight wanted to walk up and W it to confirm it, but didn't want to walk up into the range of the Malphite. Junja has the flash. What he might try and do is flash ult Knight to try and play the reaction game. He's hanging out in the Fog of War again. Knight has got to be so careful. Trying to put some balls down in that Fog of War. The reaction test is going to be real here, folks. This next Malphite ult may well seal the game, positively or negatively.
Flash. Walks up poorly here. He will just die. There is absolutely the flash angle available. Don't need it. It's only on the Scout of the week after. They blow up the Blitzcrank, but what about the follow-up? There's just not enough there. Kill, nothing in return.
They go on to that. They did get a stun onto Gala. I was getting a little afraid from him. He popped the Merc Scimitar. That could be dangerous, actually. He doesn't have a cleanse now. Malphite ult is down. I wonder if BLG, once again, like earlier, can look for the 4v5.
It's not the longest cooldown on the Malphite. It's already halfway done. If they can buy 10 to 15 seconds, it will be back up again.
Baron's getting burst down. It's on half HP. There is still a smite. Shun still has passive. Viper on the side, Bin on the other.
4k HP. It's going down to Shun now into the pit himself. He's in the spot of danger. There's the death sentence. Maximum dosage comes on through, and the business Mundo takes off his jacket, trying to hold on. A Bin on the flank angle. Look to threaten. Unfortunately, Honkyu's got onto Viper with the Realm Warp. Bin trying to do some work, but look at Gala. He's a bloody blender. How many shurikens do you need? Gala says all of them. He's a ninja in truth this time around. Shen looks on and weeps that someone else does his job better than him. Shun falls. Bin and BLG are aced on Esports, but the teleports go flying, and Jingdong Gaming will secure game 1.
It's a tale of 3 Barons, and JDG get the best of 2 of them. Honkyu one-shots Viper at the start of the fight, and BLG can't pick up the DPS rags after that. On, you can cleanse, but I don't think you can wave clear. The hook's fine, but they could have used that a little earlier. JDG clutch out around the objectives and put a bloody mark on BLG's face.
Oh, we were asking for something classic. It's been positively Dickensian. They will manage to secure those last few Nexus turrets, and JDG, after a tumultuous 40-minute game, secure victory in game 1.
Jingdong Gaming put a game against BLG. Now, in the past, we used to say BLG had a game 1 curse. I don't think that was this time. They came out, all guns blazing. JDG just outplayed them around the objectives. JDG lead the series 2-1.
Well, that was a hell of a game. I enjoyed that a lot, guys. I hope you did as well. I am Initialise. This is Nymaera. If you haven't hit that follow button yet on Twitch or YouTube, please do so now. If you've got the cash to come and support us, please ensure you think about subscribing, you think about donating, you think about Ko-fi. There's loads of ways to keep us in business. It matters a lot to us because, again, we are doing this for free. If you can at least stick around for the ads, that matters as well. If that's all you can do, then please just do that. Otherwise, you Prime sub users, what are you doing? right here.
Right. In fact, with that in mind, we are actually going to run an ad break now. We'll run one a little bit later towards the next game as well. BLG, they tried to play through early game. I think that both Knight and Honkyu actually both had pretty damn good games. Bin got given a lot of gold. I think it's very telling that they couldn't capitalize on that. That first Baron ended up being killer. If they didn't go for that orb, the smite was a little better. I think BLG might end up taking this game. They were very far ahead after that one dragon fight where Bin popped off with a 2,000 gold advantage. Couldn't quite get that, and yes, we're repping team colors today, folks. It's balanced, but it's biased. We'll call it biased, but balanced, folks. And of course, you know, we're fans of both these teams. Don't let the colors fool you on that point. Both these teams mean an awful lot emotionally to myself, who joined the LPL back in 2023, and both of these teams were the marquee matchup, the face of the LPL for that era. JDG fell away from the top of the fold after that point. Thank you so much for the prime there, Ashumi, by the way. It means an awful lot to us. And if you're watching on Onivia as well, please drop a like and subscribe there if you can. And if you'd like to come through the Twitch, cool. Absolutely. There's a lot to us as well. Of course, there is no official LPL broadcast anymore, so there are people like ourselves, the fan broadcast of LPL English as well. We're trying to do our best to rep this league and carry on these stories, because this is a story which I've been telling over the last, thousands of games now at this point. BLG, they are not without regional rivals, and that is a great thing. BLG, though, I do want to see them playing a little more clean around those objectives. Those kind of mistakes around Baron, they will lose you against teams, against any kind of team. That kind of risky play around the objectives lost them this first game. However, credit to JDG on the other side of it. They were really, really coming prepared to scrap around them too. I love the way that they picked off the Blitzcrank. If On is gone, a lot of that magical playmaking power can go with it.
I don't think BLG played poorly. I do think, however, in the end, we said, you know what, nameplate's off, JDG's draft's just easier to play. You know what, Alex? It was easier to play.
It was a bit. Now that still got very close, Sam. Still a 40-minute game.
It did. And again, and part of that is just these both teams are very, very good. I think Honkyu was absolutely stellar on that rise. He was such a menace on the flank angle.
He was great.
Look at the damage from Gala in that last team fight, by the way.
I will say, though, my player of the game 100% is Junja. Junja was magnificent. He was good in the early game, diving bot lane. He was keeping Knight's flash on cooldown. He stole the Baron as well.
Can't ask for more from Malphite, can you?
I think Junja had an exceptional game. I think also the reason why they beat anyone's legend last week is because of his early game impact. Junja is starting to get really locked into his enemy teams here. I wonder whether that changes when he's up against multiple teams in short succession. He can't download them in that way. For instance, he looked a lot worse versus IG.
Yeah.
However, I do think that when he gets that chance to sit down, really dissect what's happening in a game, he has some real power. Right, we're going to go on a quick break, folks. We'll be sat here. If you want to chat to us, absolutely do so. We do read all of the chats as well. We've got to make sure that we don't get our streams taken down by the break music. So we're going to go put on some Sessions, Diana, and chill things down just a second. Okay. Do you need a drink or anything?
I was thinking about making us some food.
Right, okay.
Do you want me to do that?
I want you to be here for the games first and foremost. So
That's
don't overrun. If you're going to do it now.
That's what I'm going to go do, yeah.
Cool. Perfect. Okay, let's and I'll sit and chat, folks. If you want to ask any questions about these teams, about the LPL, about broadcast work in general, feel free to. I'm one of the more experienced folks on it. Yeah, the dichotomy of wanting like a rest but also wanting 3 games. I get it. It's kind of my life. Fun fact for Lana. Ooh, let me think. Let me have a think. Fun fact. Do you both agree we need to start looking at Honkyu as a top 5 player in the world at the moment? I don't think he's quite there. His negative games are quite poor. In his comfort games, very, very good, but his low swings are quite low. And his high games are pretty successful, but then you look at like the Anivia game, which he was carrying up until like he threw in a late game fight. It's like it's just outside the cusp. Particularly when you look at players like, I think, Faker, Vikla, Showmaker from LCK are looking really good right now. I think Knight, across the average of the games, has been better than Honkyu across the average of the games early on too. And I think in this game it's very close. So I think right now he's just outside the top 5, but he's definitely looking good. Yeah, I have to say the AD carry gap was kind of insane too in terms of the damage. Easier game to play though for Gala because he has, he doesn't have a Malphite jumping at him. And Viper didn't have any resources. It was Gala who was given all the ganks early. Hey, no, dude, have you seen Vikla's games right now? Have you seen Vikla's games? He's looking incredible. Still got to find that fun fact for Lana. Let me think. Oh, we have a golden Kappa train? Hell yeah. Get your subs in, folks. Betalip, thanks for the sub. Thank you so much. And we have a golden Kappa train. Let's fucking go. Okay, let me think. Sorry, let me think. Fun fact. Did you know there's no such thing as a saber-toothed tiger? There are saber-toothed cats, but not saber-toothed tigers. They're known as saber-toothed cats. Smilodons. Saber-toothed tigers is kind of like a colloquialism. There's no actual creature called a saber-toothed tiger. It's a fun fact for you. Vikla currently gives me Year of the Duck vibes. He's looking really good right now. He is. Shin stomps bad junglers, doesn't have confidence versus good ones. I don't think the confidence is the issue. I think he misjudges things and he gets punished. Says a lot that Junja didn't even need to land that all night, though. What was that actualizer EQ? It's late game, Deathcap, or actualizer rise, baby. Viper got one shot. Well, he also had no peel as well. You don't want to have a mage going 1v1 versus... You don't want to be an AD carry 1v1ing a mage in late game. The AD carry does not win that. In late game, absolutely. I think Kira is right when he says that whoever picks up Honkyu is primed to build the next LPL dynasty. I mean, I do agree with that, but I think currently he's still... Like, Honkyu's bad games where he's dying in side lanes are... How, Gala player of the game? Oh, I don't know about that. Look, Gala was pretty good, but I'm not sure he's better than a Honkyu or Junja in this game. That is... I'm not sure I agree with that, actually. That's a bit of a steal. That's a bit of a steal. I'm not sure about that.
British Pirates cheered X100. Never seen a Kappa train. Then again, I am not a big Twitch person. Also, while it's very sad to see the CFO from last year broken up, Junjia and Honk are looking really solid as a duo, looking forward to their future.
Well, thank you so much, British Pirates. I need to be really careful about that text-to-speech happening in-game. Yeah, I think realistically, it should have been one of the mid-jungle folks. It should have been one of them. I am surprised that it was Scala. Thank you so much for the bits there as well. Okay, let me put back onto this. Because again, sometimes we get some like licensing problems with the music during the breaks. And then once we get closer to it again, I'm gonna have to run. I will have to run like another block of ads. Just I don't want any ads to happen during game. That would be very bad, you know. Because let's be honest, we're all here for posture check. I will do that. It's just that I have to lean across to the microphone when I'm speaking quietly. Hey Angie, how's it going? Thank you, Purple Orca, again, by the way. Orca, you've thrown so many bits at us. I feel like you're throwing like confetti on the stage. It's cool. Yeah, I think that should have been mid or jungle, folks. I don't think that should have... Look, Gala wasn't... He was good. He was good. But I do think realistically it was about mid-jungle that game. Fellows being able to play the game with no cleanse versus Syndra and Renekton was so illegal. Well, he didn't do that because Ghost is really important versus Blitzcrank. Because you need to play the laning phase out versus Blitzcrank. Otherwise, he just runs at you and he kills you. It's actually very important to have Ghost in here. And then you have to build like a QSS or something later. If you want to get on the golden Kappa train and then subscribe, now's the time to do it. Fun fact for Lunafic. Let me think. For the longest time, the best swords in the world for a very long time before Metallurgy Advanced were from meteors because it was pure iron in a way that we could not smelt ourselves. However, pure iron is not the strongest form of iron. Obviously, when you carbonate it and you put enough carbon into it, it becomes steel. But still, that's why a lot of people have meteor swords and stuff like Avatar: The Last Airbender. That actually has historical precedent. Alexander the Great sword was apparently a meteor sword as well. Yeah, so many famous rulers and great figures across history had meteor swords because they were they were beyond what metalworking could smelt out of ore. Yep. Also, the big thing about the quote-unquote the Bronze Age and the Iron Age is that actually bronze wasn't necessarily inferior to iron. It's just much harder to make bronze compared to iron once you actually know how to make iron. Once you actually know how to make iron, it becomes a much better thing. Thank you for the bids, Battlelip. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you everyone for being so supportive. It does make an awful lot of difference to us. You know, we're trying to make a career out of this. LPL has kind of been our lives for the last couple of years. You know, yeah. So how do I get me a Gala jersey? Now, I got them off the Leaning shop. There is a... I don't know whether they're knockoffs. I'm actually not sure. I think they are. Oh, okay. I've given you fun facts. I do have more banked up somewhere. I just need to recall them. Like, I don't know. Here's a fun fact. I'll give you one for free because people have been asking for them. I'll give you one for free. Oh, compliment. Okay, sorry. There's also some compliments as well. Sorry. Compliment for. I need to get hydrated. I will do that. Compliment for TFC. I really appreciate that, even though it's very hard for you to be watching LPL right now, because I know like the emotional connection to IG and the show and stuff. I really do appreciate how thoughtful you are and sticking around to support the stream. It does make a lot of difference. So as TFC, it was a very cool meeting. I actually got to meet up with TFC as well. Turns out he's actually quite a nice guy. Not just a Redditor, don't you worry. Yeah, TFC, I appreciate your support, even though it's emotionally a little bit weird. I do understand that. Compliment for Zeref. Similar to you, Zeref, I know that Zeref, sometimes you only pop in for like a couple of minutes whenever you're free. I appreciate you stopping by. It's always nice to see you. Like I know that sometimes you're very busy. But yeah, like a lot of the people who ask for compliments, obviously they're regulars here. It's really nice to catch up with the regulars here, honestly. It feels like we've created our own little bit of the community, and to witness moments like this, which are really just so cool. You can't replicate moments like this in these kind of games. You just got to keep watching and hope something turns up again. Is really cool. Yeah. Who doubted that match? Yeah, you know. Okay, I need to run another ad break now, otherwise we are going to get them in game. I'm going to do 1 minute 30, and we'll hope that will be fine. We shall be fine, I hope. Who is TFC? TFC is one of the big... Basically, TFC is one of the big commenters on post-match threads on Reddit. Is like one of the biggest stands of the show. I swear to God, esports Reddit fans are the most joyless people on the planet. Hey, there are some nice ones. I mean, not everyone's the same. Not everyone's the same. But yeah, there are definitely some moments I'm like, come on, you've probably got something more useful to be doing than commenting this. Okay, so what do we want to see from BLG? Now, one of the problems is basically one of the issues is trying to find out my words for this. BLG have shown that when they put resources towards top side and they don't put them towards bot lane, they do look like a worse team. That's not to say they can't win, but I think BLG look a lot better, when they win bot lane. Hey, Cetus, thanks to the sub, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think that when they win bot lane, they get to keep the enemy support locked in lane, and they also get to keep On out on the map as well, and On is very, very good at running the map from ahead. Obviously in this game, it was more about the Baron setup a little bit later. BLG did have a winning angle, they just flipped it around the Baron, it wasn't quite good enough. There's a stealer's advantage, it is easier to steal than it is to actually secure the thing, I do understand that too. Really appreciate the subs, by the way, again, it makes an awful lot of difference to Sam and myself. This is our living, by the way, this stream. I don't know, it's small, but it's small, but it's ours, and we love it. Gosh, sorry, what I was saying. But yes, I think BLG need to focus more on bot lane. I think it's just an easier way to win in the meta right now. Do I mind them playing a game of top side per series? No, not really. I think it's good. We did see Syndra try and run down towards bot lane too. Realistically, I think they need to hard focus bot lane though. When they win through bot lane, it's just much easier to play. Bin is a very special player, yes, but I think in a macro sense right now, it is just much more efficient to play through top lane. Okay, I'm going to switch on to the other music, so we're going to get a little less chill now. Much less chill. Okay, what I did was go to Shopnings and order the one with the IGN on the back. Yeah, that's what I did for these actually, and these, I think these are legit. I think they are. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure. Sometimes it gets a little bit, tenuous with that. Okay, been catching up on your LFN podcast. Keep killing, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been really cool doing Summoning Insight, doing Power Spike. Obviously, I've been doing EuroLeague, which is not LFN as well. I guessed it on Power Spike this week. Basically, I've been doing podcasting and streaming for a life, which is, I'm blessed to be able to do something which I love to do and I have a passion for a living. Thank you, Noah. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's really weird stepping into the shoes of Monty, because Monty, like, yeah, no, it was very strange, like, talking to Monty for the first time years ago, because basically I've grown up on League now. League has been a lot of my upbringing. Watching OGN back in Season 3, Season 4, realistically Season 4, but the end of Season 3, really. They kind of got me through uni, and League's been a huge social outlet for me. League is most of my life now, so to be able to work with some of the great people in the scene has been very special. Yeah, fun to listen to your work. Well, I appreciate you listening to it as well. And, yeah, and then obviously, oh, Shopnings is the official leaning? Perfect then, cool. All right, Shopnings, I was wondering if it wasn't, because I don't have the context on it. Yeah, Shopnings is the place you get LPL jerseys, it's very cool. Oh, by the way, folks, if you'd like to follow me on various socials and or donate in Ko-fi, these are the links. But yeah, this is where you can find me. If that's interesting to you, of course. Probably the best person next to Thorin I've seen since Monty stepped back. Look, there's a lot of people who I think can fill in different ways, right? And I try and fill it in my way. I'm lucky that people enjoy the way that I fill in as well. It's very flattering for people to enjoy what I do like that. We should be getting pretty close to game 2 now, folks. Should be getting pretty close to that. And hopefully, we will have ourselves another banger just like that one. I'm personally, fingers crossed, I'm a little ambivalent on not ambivalent. I don't really care who wins. I just want to see the team that wins to be confident, to show growth, and to really be pushed by the other team as well. And I want to see 3 games. I do want to see 3 games. Oh gosh. Yeah, they used to have Nike as their sponsorship. For those of you that don't know, the teams themselves aren't the ones that produce the jerseys. They reach out to a clothing provider, which then does that for them. So Nike used to do every single uniform in the LPL. Now it's Li Ning which does it as well. And they also do shoes and stuff like that. It's just the jerseys, it's the whole outfit. It's like like joggers, like tracksuit stuff. The shirt, the jacket, the shoes. Yeah, we demand 3 games. I really want to see that too. Plus, also, like, I want to spend more time casting for you guys too. I know it would be a 9-game day. It would be our first of the year. This is what I do it for. So, you know, the Shy jersey is tempting. I see so many of the Shy jerseys when I like. Yeah, when I went out to Xi'an, there were so many of the Shy jerseys. I think that was the most, although there were a lot of Uzi ones out there too, because back at that time, that was Uzi's last kind of hurrah. Thank you so much for the sub there, Nixo. Appreciate it an awful lot. If you can handle Thorin's tangents. The thing is, I also tangent. Like, I think the way to get used to someone else's tangents and rants is just do it yourself. Like, then you kind of get in the headspace for it. It's why we kind of like give each other space to tangent, which helps, I think. Okay, we should be pretty close to the stage now. By the way, that's Christina, the host there on the right. She's very cool. Got to work with her out in Xi'an 23. It's very cool. And of course with LPL English earlier in that year too. Where can I watch Tarzan point of views or stream? I think there's some stuff on Bilibili. Yeah, I think there's some stuff on Bilibili, but don't quote me on that. Okay, we're back onto stage, so presumably that means we're pretty close to the game. Players back in their seats should be pretty close to that draft. Seeing you guys in my favorite pods is so great. Well, I'm glad to have you as a viewer. At the end of the day, you know, I do it for people to actually listen to it. I mean, I do it for my own fulfillment too, but I do it so it can also be something which reaches people in some way, whether that's analytically or entertainment or whatever. Yeah, by the way, the cheat code I've discovered with shopnings and stuff, getting the jerseys of this year, very expensive. If you get the jersey from the year before, it's like 1/3 of the price, maybe even less. So if you want to save money, get the jersey from the year before. Okay, back into draft, into game 2. BLG, JDG. Who's getting first pick? It will be BLG. JDG choose blue side. BLG, basically red side is first pick now, because everyone here with side of map select does go for that blue side. So, let's get into this once more. What we let through in terms of those picks and bans. Rumble was not picked or banned in that last game. We still have Orianna, still have Talia, still have Varus. Jace is banned, Jarvan. Aurora is a big comfort pick for Honky. We are getting to the point where it might be Ahri Talia angle. Ahri Talia. In terms of AD carry, still have that Varus. Probably looking at stuff like Sivir Corki. Maybe Sivir's a little bit further down, but Corki might be in there at some point. With the Unaragon, I think Corki's a lot safer to pick. Might even see something like Lucian Blorm, you know. Kai'Sa potentially too. Both these teams, good Kai'Sa teams. Gala, really one of the most iconic ones of that of all time. The Rumble is banned, so they don't want to first pick it. Smiles from Knight. Even though they lost that first game, Daney behind them as well, watching over their shoulders. Thank you, Cease. Appreciate it an awful lot. Okay, JDG, last ban. What don't they want to let through? Presumably it's Varus. I think you just have to ban the Varus, right? Don't let that go through. Viper's incredibly good at it. It wins them lane for free. Don't give them the... They ban a Kali. First pick Varus instant. Must be the first pick Varus instantly. Unless they think there's a jungler they want, like Shinzao or Wukong. Even then, I think you have to go Varus. You have to go Varus. Otherwise, they just slap it in the other side. They win bot lane. Easy enough. Now, on the other side, the question becomes, what do you do about the Varus? Gala will probably be thinking about Corki Sivir. Maybe not the Corki. Can lose lane a couple of times. Jhin Sivir, though. Sivir can at least spell shield. Can sometimes get that shove against the Varus. Thank you so much for
British Pirates cheered X100.
Yes,
Reminder
okay,
to
thank
turn
you,
off the TTS in case you
okay,
haven't.
I get it. I remember. I get it. I get it. I get it. I will turn
for
off.
some good commentary.
Okay, text-to-speech has been turned off. Thank you for the reminder. That has now been done. Karma, first pick for BLG.
On has
Okay.
his band away from him every other series, in fairness. He's probably the best Karma in the league, arguably the world. He plays it like a pick champion. A man for W.
So now what this opens up is, well, how lane dominant do you want to be? How lane dominant do you want to be? I'm not sure I like this. Okay, champion select's fallen through. I would imagine the Karma first pick is a mistake. I'd imagine that's a mistake. Sam, I'm just aware that there might. I don't want to set off the smoke alarm.
Yeah, I'll go make sure.
I want to just make sure that you've scupped you. Like, Sam, if I can smell the food, the smoke alarm can too. So, I'm making some food. So we'll see. We'll see what happens exactly. What do you want me to do? I gotta go turn off the text-to-speech manually through the overlay thing. So I'd imagine the first pick Karma was a mistake. That will be what I'd imagine is. Yeah, I'd imagine that is the mistake there, folks. Okay, I gotta go quickly do that thing about settings. Is everywhere? No, not that. Where? Okay, where is the text-to-speech on this then? Blah 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 blah. Cheer. It's the cheer thing. That's it. That's it. Okay. Okay, alright. It should be okay now. Okay, I think we're safe from the text-to-speech, I think, finally. Okay, alright. Champion select fell through. I think it probably will end up being... the Varus first pick. Thank you, by the way, for the reminder on the text-to-speech. I had to go in and, like, do that. Compliment for Pinchulus. The only thing which I'd first pick over Varus is you in my chat, Pinchulus. That's who I'd first pick. I'd let champion select fall through and everything. Nico was open during... I actually... You know, this actually catches me off guard a lot. I always assume Nico is banned. Nico, you're absolutely right. Nico was let through in that draft. You're completely right. So then the question becomes, okay, if you first pick the Varus, do you get Kai'Sa Nico on the other side? Or MF Nico? Test? I think we're safe. Thank you very much for the test bit. Okay, that's safe. Good. John Snur. You know, funnily enough, I have a signed poster by Kit Harington. Was there a pause because they screwed up the draft? I believe so. Folks, do I do this now? Right, folks, I might do this now. I might end up putting on adverts now just so we don't get them later. Now, the first bit of draft should be exactly the same. Now, of course, when I click this, it should probably end up starting the draft again. I'm going to put ads on now. Hopefully it'll be fine. So this means you're not missing draft, you're not missing pit at, like, the start of the game or anything. I'm going to do that now. Surprised how they can pick Karma over Nico. It is worth noting that Karma wins lane versus Nico. Now, Nico is much better outside of the lane and has better combos, has the hard CC as well. Right back into that draft. God damn it, as soon as I start the damn break. Okay, whatever. That's just typical, isn't it? That is just typical. Okay, right, Rumble ban, everything the same up until this point. So we have Karma, Varus, Nico. Those are the three things locked in. Those are the three big things. Varus first pick this time, so BLG did mean to lock that in all this time. JDG, do they lock in the Nico for Vampire? That would be the assumed response to this Varus first pick, unless they want to go for a Misfortune lane. That is the other thing that they could go towards. Gala is a player of it. Nico, the easy pick. That's the easy one. Now, On might still go for the Karma. And Bessa. Okay, now that's a little different. Now, you have a couple of options here as On. You can go for Bard, you can go Karma, you can go Nautilus. Technically, you can even go Renata as well, if you'd really like to save it for a later pick. I think you go jungle here. I think you go jungle, personally. I think you can go Pantheon or Wukong. I think either of them is fine. You could even go for Cassante and go for Peelback comp. You could even do that right now. It's a pretty safe blind pick. Not the Amumu. It's the Pantheon. Okay. It always gets me a little scared when it starts to tick down. Missed a lot of game one. Was BLG playing poorly? They had a Baron stolen against them, which kind of closed out the game. Yeah, I think you want to tank top laner here for the peel. I think what this allows you to do is play through bot lane. The thing which I ask for BLG is, look, you tried your top lane draft again. It didn't work out, much like it didn't in game one versus Weibo. Let's see you brutalize through bot lane on the map. bot side of the map. They lock in the Scion, that will help Scion be safe on the weak side. If it's into the Ambassador, that's fine. They could try and pick something like the Yorick and put the Ambassador jungle. Shash could also, you could technically go Gwen as well, although I think that actually struggles against Scion a lot more than people realize. Although actually with the Dusk and Dawn, maybe not. Don't know if that matchup's changed actually. Let's track that. JDG. Ooh, Sivir. Now, the thing about the Sivir, it's less of a kill lane, but it does scale pretty damn well. Now, JDG, presumably they ban away a couple of the supports they don't want to face. I guess they could also ban away some of the mid laners for Knight. And also, LCK has been flexing Pantheon to support. And it's not bad versus Nico, because you can one-shot it. So there is a chance that Pantheon goes support and they go Nocturne. You go Nocturne, Pantheon, Scion flying is in as well, and the carry dies. That's a composition we saw from... Was it BFX the other day over in LCK? Alistair banned away from On. BLG. Do they ban away diving junglers? Do they ban away the Nocturne themselves now? Unless they want to, do something crazy and pick it themselves. Karma banned away for lane priority. Now On can think about Bard. He can think about, what else can you think about? Nautilus maybe as well. We can talk about that already. DNS that did the Pantheon support. There have been a couple of teams that joined. I think 2 teams have done it. So I know that Life played it in the Doc Demon Life lane. Talia looking pretty tasty for BLG now as well. Although they could maybe... I don't know if they think they have anything lane dominant against it. I think BLG might just slam the... So the Nocturne is banned away. Okay, because there is a chance that they... Just saying, folks, there's a chance they flex that Pantheon support. There's a chance. JDG, they have to, well, presumably answer that jungle. Ambassador going into top lane. Shinzao into the jungle. Now, BLG, do you want to pull a bait and switch? Is it going to be the Pantheon into the support and you pick something else into the jungle? I don't think you do that now with the Nocturne gone. I don't think you do that. I think you would like to have another diving jungle. Talia is the easy one. Very easy. I think a lot of the worst laning matchups are gone, unless Honky wants to go for something like the Cassiopeia. But Aurora's gone. Syndra, Orianna, Ryze, a lot of the more typical matchups. You don't really want to play Anivia into this. She causes a couple too many issues for you, actually. So, Pantheon into the jungle, engage support, something that... Rel's not bad here either, actually. Rel's pretty safe. Looks like then... Oh, that'd be something lane dominant. Call back to the Elise support. The Caitlyn Elise of last year for BLG was dominant. Are we really Camilleing support? It's pretty good versus Sivir, but are we really doing that? Unless there's a callback to like Honkyu's Camille mid or something. Okay, the Rel, like, Bard locked in. Okay, switch over the last second. So Bard, long range engage. Pretty good at saving a carry in quick notice with your ults. Pretty lane dominant. That auto Q trade at level 1's very strong, unless you do the W stack for the HP. Last pick for Honky. He's played this quite a lot. He has lost the individual matchup a fair amount, though, I will say. Honky, his opportunism's not bad, but his laning's not fantastic on this. Knight, a very successful Talia as well. Sam, we have ourselves our full draft. Thank you so much, Sam. I think we've got some fried rice here. So if you hear us getting suspiciously quiet, it might be fried rice related, maybe. Okay, let's get ourselves into that game, Sam. Drafts coming through.
I feel it.
Lots of dive from JDG. I think bot lane is contested again. I think that Scion being on the map means that BLG will focus more on bot side, and I think we'll see much more effort for them just throwing the Pantheon Talia towards bot side and trying to get Viper, and more importantly for me, on ahead.
Knight, when he's been able to get out of lane, has been very, very dangerous. Honkyu's Ari, though, was so good in LCP last year.
Well, the thing is, the times I've seen it in LPL, he's lost the lane versus Talia. Rookie was beating him pretty hard in the 1v1. And even the other game he played of it, I thought that his opportunism was... Thank you so much for the gift subs there. I'm going to have to mute that as well, actually. Okay, let's get ourselves into the game, folks. Let us get ourselves into the game. Woo!
Thank you for looking after us, guys. All those subs mean a hell of a lot. I appreciate it all for coming and helping out. As we do load onto the Rift. What a Rift it is. Summoners one. Well, there are no summoners anymore.
Yeah. Fun of that.
One day they will tie it in as to why the summoners have disappeared.
One day, Sam. I think that's a lot to ask, Sam. I'm not sure about that.
I have my issues. I have my issues. course, we are in JDG's home arena. Why then? Slightly quieter response from the crowd. It was a bit of an eyebrow raise. Normally you have the chant leader there, though in fairness it's getting very late over there. In China. To the Rift we go. EDG lead 1-0. It was a fantastic fracas. First time out, Giles to begin with, and then we'll see exactly how this series pans out. Much more like it, JDG fans.
Into that early lane. Honky, got to be careful of that individual matchup there. Again, he suffered a little bit for that. Before. With that on Viper, I really asked them for that last game to play around bot side. The 2 games they played around top side, it's felt like, just macro-wise, they've struggled a little bit more to pull it off into the late game. And of course, last game, it was pretty close to it. Do you really blame them for it necessarily? I mean, well, they did almost win, and that Baron got stolen away from them. Knight was laughing on stage. Seemed like BLG weren't too perturbed by it. I suppose BLG are not exactly strangers to losing out that first game in the series. Notice that Viper has gone for Poke Varus, has that Comet, and more able to contest at range.
Some statistical analysis there. Favouring JDG getting the early grubs and Herald. Yeah, 52% swing. We are sort of seeing those relatively narrow statistical margins on these bots, but still worth noting, at least statistically, favouring JDG a little earlier on, but again, that's Shinzao Ari being quite potent potentially in those early skirmishes.
And Nico as well. Nico's just very good in that early lane. You know, the earlier the game goes on, typically, if you're going to win through early lane, it's probably going to be Nico just getting huge bursts and threats through that.
The Bard is a bad answer into it, to be fair.
Yeah, which is why they picked it. You know, and I think that the extra sustain helps you a little bit. Viper misses the cannon there. Oops.
-1.
Vampire misses the Q though in turn, so you know who's really winning it. I mean, still missing the cannon.
Still missing that.
Another good flick back again. We're just saying that actually, you know, Honky's struggling in the individual matchup. Versus, hang on is roaming really early. Wow. And if you can get it, if he gets the Q flash, maybe this is a kill.
Doesn't need to do it. Just throws out a Q, lands the charm on tonight, keeps the trade back, gets an electrocute, seismic shove just wide.
Honky still losing a lot of HP there. Viper 1v2. And again, it's just Bard hitting like level 2. Damn, nice for Viper there. Damage onto Gala. Fighting in the river now. Vampire is the Nico. Auto-attacking that Scuttle Crab. Shun will be... Well, there's Phaelites for both teams, actually. Both teams have full information there. On... Ginger putting a ward behind the turret just to see if there was anything spooky happening. Viper going to teleport back in. Shun not going to go towards that bot side Scuttle. And we see that Vampire and Gala. As the draft kind of dictates, winning through that bot lane early lanes. The real question comes, you know, once it comes to like level 6 odd, get the ultimates coming through from Shun and Knight. How quickly can they make a difference here? Hang on, that's a double root through, but they don't. There's a chance of a Q landing and causing some issues. Vampire's fine there though. I don't think Vampire. Flick back again, but no rocks put down after. Nice from Honky there to throw out the charm, knowing that if Knight had stuck around for the E animation, probably would have got caught.
There, of course, Knight still got the shove, doing a good job there. It's relatively even in terms of CS stuff in the mid lane, but it has been a lot of skill shots landing on both sides there. I feel like Knight hitting a few of those early seismic shoves got to feel pretty good. Parachute, looking to interrupt Ben, will do so.
Yeah, the early matchup of this, it's more tilted by... Look, Talia, if they start getting ahead, you kind of do need your jungle to come in. Hang on, Xiaoshu's over push, and... this could be a dead Xiaoshu.
Not a lot to be done here, I think. We'll try and dash away. Drake counter-step, cunning swipe, and Sunderland slam down. Use yourself for the move speed, puts down the ward. In comes the Comet Spear. Just getting some of those autos down. There's the W. Been gonna assist and allow Shun to get that first blood relatively simply there.
Yeah, I can see that Vampire forced off that bot lane. Bot lane was doing, you know, pretty well in the laning phase from Garlet, but, only the 5 CS up now. I thought it would end up being that 10 CS. Kill over towards Shun. Death from Xiaoshu. Gonna teleport towards that top side. Bin finally gets his recall off and he'll teleport back at the same time. Shun, first blood in this game. And I have to say, when Shun starts snowballing, he really is a powerful jungler. The thing about Shun, which is very interesting, is that, like, even when he's behind, he's willing to make those plays. Yeah. But, we saw that versus Tarzan, right, in their previous series. But once he's ahead, that lethal mentality, I think it spreads to the entirety of BLG. It's why Shun coming back to the roster, I think, has been very important. I think it is just in terms of the vibes. They don't look as tilted, really, when they start losing. I think Shun is a big part of that, but also when Shun starts getting ahead, it really affects the way that they snowball. They're trying to run to the mid lane now.
Gonna try and make that one happen. Honky will ult away. They're going to flash off Knight. That's decent. The charm map is solid. Flash on Junja over the seismic shove. Very nicely managed from the CFO former duo.
Yeah, Knight blowing the flash, still dying. We did say that basically this lane gets kind of tilted by jungle walking in. Knight using the summon, still dying. Honkyu, not the best at the lane, but good at getting someone else to make a difference. Blowing that heal, trading back against Vampire.
And got caught by the tangle barbs before that as well, into the double edge of that boomerang blade. If you can play the max range of boomerang blade, very easy to get both parts of it. Be a bit of a nasty bit of poke. Good little stun there onto Viper, who was of course playing the poke Varus. It's Viper, of course it's poke Varus. He never plays anything else, it feels like.
True, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, is it a good game for on hit? Still going poke, still doing well. So, JDG losing a kill in top lane, getting one in mid, doing quite well at punishing Knight this series so far. Honkyu with that solo kill in the first game. Gank here in the second. In the one with the resources again from BLG from the early game, although, to be honest, quite hard for BLG to put down resources there. Shun does have passive. Knight has ult, they could go in. There's no Ahri ult to answer this. Maybe that's the play for them.
Draws down onto Junja, does have the Crescent Guard, maybe has to burn it, change the corruption. Shield Vault, lots of damage onto Junja, now Crescent Guard, decides to have gone through and then up. Viper got the empowered. New flash on forward with a charm, gets it. That'll be Knight falling as well. Makes that the 1-for-1. Shun with the Aegis Assault. He hits the clone. Flash, stun, and Vampire falls as well.
Hang on, Honkyu's got another. Very close. Honkyu, no charm. No, well, I think his charm's still down. It's still only at that first rank up there. BLG roaming on the timer where Honkyu didn't have ult. If Ahri has ult there, they can't make that play. Knight's making his way down to it. Shun, once again, the beneficiary. 2-0-1 now. Viper getting a kill somewhere in the mess of this too. Although Knight at 0-2, Honkyu 2-0. The mid lane matchup in both these games, the gold has been going over to Honkyu. Powerful game from, again, the CFO mid laner last year. I was so surprised at how quickly Junja exploded. Basically, Viper has the Elixir of Wrath from Triple Tonic, walks up, gets 3 stacks onto him, empowers the Q with the W active, massive damage coming through. Good power spike from him. It's good damage from the Nico and the Ricochet though. Honkyu comes down, gets the electrocute, at least gets himself a kill on the other side of things here. Giving us a slideshow of all things great and beautiful here. Again, many people using the clean feed means that sometimes occasionally gets like this. Going to go back into live. On can always magical journey out of this.
Get a bit of damage there down onto On with the blooming burst, but at least too much more. Honkyu is the one who picked up the 2 kills by the bite for JDG, whereas Knight has got the 2 assists. That's all well and good, but he's now down about 15 CS. Having a tough time into Honkyu, as we've been saying. And he's the one with Dark Seal stacks now as well as Honkyu.
Clean feed got to lock in. Yeah, I agree. I think basically the more popular the match, the more it will be a little difficult on the old clean feed. Although luckily we found some ways to make it a little better. We're onto the Huya app rather than the website, which definitely helps us on that. Knight's farming out of the mid lane, down a significant amount of CS. Now he has been, ganked by Junja. Honkyu got that kill on the last one. Knight, a player who I think had an excellent start to this split, but this series is a little bit rough on an individual level. He's been dying a lot more than I expect from him, even when he's been committing to the skirmish. He's normally very good at keeping himself safe. It's one of the reasons why he's probably the most prolific Magi's builder in the world. See how much value you can get out. So at the end of the day, he's still going to have his ult, still going to have that global presence. The fact that he is up now. Honkyu going towards Lost Chapter build. We'll see whether it's Blackfire Torch or the Malignance, but he has his ult up as well. So both mid laners with playmaking potential. Junja walking down. Bot lane push contested. You can imagine both of them roam up to the dragon fight if they want to fight. Shun does have his ult. He's not in the area right now. Phalight's activated by On. Pantheon can jump into the play. Okay. I will say, though, if he's not there at the start of it and he doesn't angle his ult well, it can be a problem. On really wants to go for this.
Ooh, good binding there into the Grand Starfall. Junja just about survives the combo. Shun his hit with the stun. Seismic shove, though, puts Vampire into a difficult spot. Junja escapes. Vampire, though, left low, backsteps the arrow. The health bar's not looking fantastic. Honkyu escapes. He's got 1 charge of the ult left to go. On goes through, gets hit by the charm, but there's no additional cooldowns. The Q just wide as Honkyu slides away. Viper just about okay, but the health bar's looking pretty good for BLG. Look for the Comet Spear.
I think he's just trying to cancel backs. They have the Varus as well. It's quite hard to necessarily get the kill, but they do have the range to maybe stop the backs. Okay, On's magical journey there. I think actually saving the team of JDG. A mistake there from On, but I will say probably a strategic win for BLG all the same. They blow a couple of ultimates. They force JDG outside of the bot river. Shun can get to the Scuttle Crab, maybe start the dragon as well. No Ahri ultimate, so she can struggle to make plays. Shinzo is over the other side of the wall. Good shove onto him.
And straight on the wave. Get the charm back on tonight. That's just a decent chunk back. Again, has got the blasting rod and the lost chapters, a little bit more AP and inventory than poor old Knight, who's just got a tier and a null magic mantle.
Yeah, Shun backs off from the dragon, took the scuttle crab and goes back to farming instead. Good play from him going in with that. On and Shun, they just pull off all the triggers right, the Avengers assemble. It's a good charm onto Shun. It means that actually Shun almost dies at the start of this. Magical Journey from On is a mistake here, folks. That's a mistake. There's no flash there on Xin Zhao. I think he probably dies if he doesn't have his way out there. Honkyu also uses that to regroup with everyone on the bot side of that play as well. It's a mistake from On. I somewhat understand the angle and having your own way to get beyond the backline as well, but potentially a mistake. Looks like Grubs was started there. I'm not actually sure who took them. I think it was probably the first one taken by Junja. Viper's alone on this bot side now. I think what they're doing is saying, instead of putting pressure towards bot lane, they're saying, look, On, you're going to be out on the map. Viper, let's get you self-sufficient. So, you know, he's within touching range on gold, and On is just going out across the map.
Oh, just wide there. Got very close to the land. Bin. It's the plate. Hit by the public execution, but really, it just gets shouted to the wave.
Oh. Okay. Not sure on that one there.
There's nothing to fight for. You know what? I need access to the wave. I'm not going to be there in time otherwise.
Right. Yeah, it's very convincing. Very convincing, I tell you. Okay, so let's have a think about the next plays coming through. Don't have the Grand Starfall just yet. Also don't have the Weaver's Wall. So the Globals are on cooldown for BLG. Still on the Raptors. Knight helping. That's almost like Jungle Slayer, isn't it? Right. Can't quite get himself the full kill. There you go. Quick steal away. Hang on, that's the ult put down there.
Vampire has to flash away. On goes through the magical journey, so they get the summoner and the ult out of Gala and
oh, that's a mess.
There is a pop blossom coming on forward. Knight is chunked out. Junja finally throws down the Crescent Guard, buys a lot of time, but then Chung gets inside the Thunderdome. It's winning that one out. The Aegis Assault is good. Junja flashes survives. They're going to try and get some damage back. That piercing arrow is Honkyu. Viper in danger. They still lose Vampire, but the problem is Viper is significantly more valuable. That's reset. Look at Honkyu's angle. It's brutal through the magical journey, but there's a stun waiting for him. Oh. Takes one with him as he goes at least.
Honkyu misses the backswing of the Q on the kill on Viper, means that the reset takes an extra ult charge, and he goes down looking for the second kill. Almost the clean play which Honkyu wanted, but that one misstep may well have cost him his life and another kill. BLG still come out, I think, just about the victors from that last play? Question mark? Quite hard to tell, actually. What, 2 for 2, all things said and done? So, first thing here, this is where the clean feed wasn't locking him. Vampire forced to use his ult just onto Knight and the Shins out. Great damage coming through from Shun. He's doing so much work on the Pantheon. The AoE E, AoE Q. Tracking across all of this. Honkyu roamed down. Hang on, we've got to find the top river. Who's getting caught? Junja's instead. Junja's getting caught out on cooldown. Watch here, though. Honkyu looks for the backswing. It's a freebie. Maybe he was trying to protect the flash from Viper. Maybe. Viper outplays him. Honkyu goes through the magical journey, and it does anything but that. Does take the kill. It's a decent shutdown. Junja just died, by the way. In the picture-in-picture, Shin used his ult, as did Bin. Junja went down. They're doing quite well at punishing him. They basically just said, look, first target is Junja. We're killing him on cooldown. This could be a problem of JDG. They don't have a tank frontline. It could be a problem.
And normally, the Crescent Guard's pretty good at keeping the Shins out up and rolling. That's not always been the case here in this game. Been tricky, again, because you've got people who can get inside it, threaten quite well. The Xin Zhao, the Pantheon in particular, able to get inside the Xin Zhao and cause a little bit of strife there.
Yeah. Also, by the way, and Taran Tismiot, thank you for the sub. Did notice that earlier. It was just during a big fight.
Are you like a fan of movies?
Right. Vampire heading towards bot side. Might look for a big play here. He'll be spotted coming out from that clone. Vampire, you know, having an okay time of things. Decent ult in that last play. No, he's holding his own a little better than that first game where I think he was actually struggling quite a bit on some of those thrash moments. Of course, the lanterns became quite important later on. Knight roaming out of place. He does have his ult down 1,000 gold because Honkyu has 4 kills, by the way. All of JDG's kills. Ult and Vampire, he doesn't have flash.
Honkyu's here, though, and that means Bond potentially in danger. The Chains of Corruption into the piercing arrow is disgusting damage onto the Nico.
And the thing with that is, Dragon is up, and now Nico has to recall. Doesn't have the spell book, so can't teleport into the play like On could, I suppose, himself. Wave being pushed into mid lane. Dragon started. That chunk onto Vampire. Yes, it does take 2 ultimates, but it will eventually buy them the Dragon. Well, hang on, I say that. Junja might come in and try it.
He's going to try and fight this one. He is at the Crescent Guard. A lot of ults were burned to make this play happen. He stole it!
Well, spoke too soon. Magical Journey going to Gala. They might not get the Dragon. Let's get the AD carry.
They do a lot of damage onto On. The seismic shove his back step, but the piercing arrow finishes up what the rest of the team started. At least get something back there. BLG ahead 1,500 gold, largely off the kills they've managed to pick up.
Yeah, it's a really good steal from Junja. Just walks in, knows he can do it, and Junja, who has been targeted a lot, it's good to see him not cowed. He was very solid in that last game. He was my MVP, even if Gala walks away with the MVP votes.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I was surprised by that. Actually, I would have given it 100% to Junja or Honkyu. Once again, Honkyu having a great game. This time, Junja's had a lot of focus onto him. Shun may well be the win condition for BLG, folks. And the way that he approaches skirmishes, the way that BLG use him to kind of like leverage these incredibly aggressive plays is key to the BLG style that we know and love, which sadly didn't come to play last year. Now he's 3-1-3, 900 gold up. Bin is 1,000 gold up on Xiaoxu, by the way, individually. Had that one kill put up into that lane. He's ran away with it. Shun and Bin, a duo which has played together for many hundreds of games. What is it? What, 500 games?
It's a lot.
Between the two of them.
Ooh.
They have the gold in pocket. Just to pause. Doubt it's anything serious. Doesn't sound like a bug. Probably just something like a comms issue or peripherals thing.
Yeah, Shun is the one who's on camera there, reaching towards me. Whether he spilled a drink or something, it's sometimes a regular thing.
The way that's happening...
Yeah, I think you might have spilled a drink.
We're just like, Shun, maybe the win condition for BLG. There's a smile. It's a sippy cup incident.
It's a sippy cup. Where's Van Skeren out there?
It's a sip. Yeah. Bin and On have the 500 games. Cool, that makes sense. Of course, they had the extra year together from last year, but Shun and Bin played many games together as well. So, this game... well, I mean, last game, I suppose it was a lot more macro-offensive, switching between turrets and stuff like that. There were a lot more dynamic plays from the Ryze Malphite trying to dive the bot lane of the Nymaera. This time, we've seen a lot of pick opportunities onto the likes of the Xin Zhao. Really, that's been the one that they've been trying to shove everything through to. We're probably going to be back into the game pretty soon. Actually, folks, if I'm going to take the camera off, I recommend going to the game like now. I guessed wrong.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was wrong. Why would you do that?
I like to spread misinformation.
No one lies on the internet, Alex. They don't do that.
Well, maybe I just did. Maybe it wasn't the sippy cup.
Why would you do that?
Maybe it was, Shun just battled a great enemy on stage and he has to deal with, like, the fallout of it, you know?
Nightstar in chat, former superstar cast themselves. I reckon I see you, Nightstar. Just suggest Cup Spilling is LPL's version of Coach Voice. Is that the case? Is this the way of sneaking in?
I was wondering whether LPL would also do the Coach Voice. I believe it's only LCP and LCK. They're the two regions which are doing it. It's Honky there as well. He's had a magnificent series, folks. Honky, I think, yeah, some of his other series were a little bit hit and miss. This one has been very good. I think individually he's been laning very well, skirmishing very well. And while Knight has often made it to the play first in this game, he has been powerful enough on the cleanup. So I think Knight, given that he was losing lane, getting to the play first and making those moves is obviously very important. However, Honky has been very potent on the cleanup, and that was a 4-kill Ahri. Against this kind of comp, you will struggle to deal with a Scion, but if you get a kill onto a carry, you get the reset to get out beyond him anyway. LCP and LCK are the ones with Coach Voice.
Yes. Healthy fried rice, huh?
I haven't tried it yet, Sam, because I've been casting, Sam.
Yeah, you've been yakking. It's alright. I can do that. It's alright. So, chat, it's just me and you right now. Is there anything you want to know from me, Initialise, about either myself or this game? Currently, we seem to be good. I actually wonder whether JDG might 2-0 this. What happens then? What happens then is we're onto the Rift. There's a thought process out. If JDG gets 2-0...
one important thing I'd like to note as well, Honky's gone for the empowered Moat Treads. That really changes the matchup, especially against the Talia. What it means is sometimes you can kind of jump into the Talia and win the trade. Yeah. Now, Knight has that too. It's really important. Also has a Seraphs. However, he is behind a significant amount of gold, less than he was. Honky actually giving over a decent amount of gold in that last play. Knight catching up a little bit in that CS as well. Herald is alive. Jun just back out on the map. Who's not got flash? Well, Gala doesn't. That could be important.
Doesn't. Keep our eyes on that one. Again, you are the Civi. You do have the spell shield. It's been used well so far, but it's worth noting. And again, a lot of BLG's pick is very Merc Treadsable, right? Like the Pantheon Stun, the Virus, I
want people just be aware of the bot lane matchup just real quickly, just because we have the Ahri Talia there. This is actually the point in time where Honky could actually get a solo kill on Knight while they look for a play on the top side. I reckon what's going to happen is we're going to look for, Grand Starfall, Scion ults in. Ahri's, okay, no, it looks like Talia's actually leaving that bot lane. I think Honky might try an all-in Knight as a play happens on top side around the Herald. That's often what happens in this matchup. We'll see what happens. JDG don't have as much engage if Mbess is not there. And he's at the level 11 now, can just fly into the play on call.
Seraphs is now fully transformed from Knight, so he's going to be a little harder to initially bow, but there's that tempted charm. That was a pixel off. Here comes the Grand Starfall over the bot side play.
There he is. Can they get the flick back into it?
They're going to get the split back. Pantheon Talia is wonderfully comboed. No matter if you got the CC reduction, the CC of death is a little longer than Merc Treads can help you with.
He looked for the charm on Knight, didn't have it for the defense on the play. Honky goes down, loses his stacks, and now he's probably going to fall back to even in the matchup. Only 300 gold ahead. This is one of the worries that the LCP analyst had about Hongq, is that sometimes he just dies on inside lanes. That's one of his weaker points. He's a very, very talented laner, very talented playmaker, sometimes loses sight of the overall map, and it's very hard to make those kind of plays against the likes of Shun on something like the Pantheon, which he's been very, very successful on. Shun now 4-1, 1.4k up.
And you did such a good job of articulating why Hongq might look for the 1v1. And I think Shun and Knight read it, right? Rather than having the Grand Starfall towards the top side of the map, they just did towards...
Spell Shield Sound still has no... Oh, he does have the flash now.
He's going to have to get it good. It's stunned to the wall. Chains of Corruption. He cleanses early, not quite dead. In comes Junja. Looking to turn around. Viper now knocked up. And Vampire helps Junja get that kill.
Cleanse comes through, might have done with the spell shield. A bit of a misplay there, though, from the bot lane. Thought they were safe. They were not. Teleport from... Oh, the Talia coming towards top side. They could look for a play. He has the wall to follow up on another play.
Well, this gets interesting. He's gone forward. He's been looking to try and get
He's
around
looking for the
it.
wall. He's looking for the wall.
Oh, Xiaoshu. He just doesn't know. Finally flashes a potential option to ult on in here. Gala's down very low, by the by. Got chunked out somewhere during that off-screen play on. Throws down the magical journey on the back of the pit. 1700 HP on the... That was picked up by the Ahri. That'll be the eye the Herald needs picked up as Junja. Thrown on top of it. Will now be able to tick the eye up and will die.
Really good play from Knight, comboing up with the CC, getting that teleport on the angle. And of course, what BLG were playing for there was Viper teleporting back in if it went longer as well. Looks like the Herald was picked up by Junja, but BLG, I think they're just going to take control of the map anyway. Xiaoshu does have ult. Here comes Vampire.
Flash, Blossom on 2. It's not bad. Knight gets rooted up, but there's not that much follow-up. Now Bin's coming on down. On's here as well. JDG got way too deep.
It's too far. Good flick back from Knight means that Xiaoshu can't immediately ult for the play. Xiaoshu ults over, but I think he might still be dead.
He's not doing badly. Here comes Hongq. Oh boy. Makes it the 1-for-1 at the back end of that play. Still got one ult charge to work with. Does he have a flash? Yes, he does. Does he want to burn it here with the ult? I don't think he does. Knight needs to be a bit aware of the ult flash angle.
There's a chance to flick back. That could be the kill as well.
Oh, flash W, and that's unfortunately Hongq dying on spawn.
Hongq had the agency, did not outplay that. So close, might have been able to flash away from the Pantheon, couldn't react in time. The point and click of the Pantheon to lay it so powerful. Shun 7-1. This jungler from BLG back home again has made such a difference to his team. The flick back onto Xiaoshu at the time Vampire engages means that it's not the kill combo. If Xiaoshu could ult as Vampire did, would pretty much be a guaranteed kill onto Knight. Sadly, the CC came through. Vampire's efforts are all for naught. I actually understand the angle from Vampire. Sadly, the supporting member could not follow up in the way which he envisaged. Back onto the map and Vampire's dead. Used that flash earlier. Sitting duck now.
He's really struggling, isn't he? Vampire not at his best when he's trying to play defensively. He is one of those supports who loves to position aggressively and gets caught out doing so. One of his weaker parts of his game. Dragon now started by the side of BLG. They've got the man advantage.
Now Junja stole one of them. This is the second dragon now. Going to come down to this again. With that. Ooh, that catches onto Hongq.
Flash away from Junja. Chains of Corruption just shy as Hongq gets to dash away with the ultimate. Looking for a charm. Won't find it. Still got one more ult to work with. Yet to burn it as Gala also pops the on the hunt.
Really like the way that BLG are playing to force the cooldowns of JDG. Again, it's an LPL specialty, that cooldown economy. I say, okay, all right, blow that flash, blow that ultimate. Try and stay ahead of you in terms of cooldowns, so we're always ready to fight. So what happened here? Spotted on a Surprise Bloom, Magical Journey, Pantheon ult as well. This is one of those things which, again, it's very hard to teach new players. Sion just ults out of danger, safe there. Basically, when you're against stuff like the double globals, the Bard Magical Journey, which I actually count as a semi-global, because it allows you to move so quickly across the map. You don't always know where you're safe, especially as a Nico. You are very, very vulnerable. You don't have that flash. This is a skill which you'll have to learn at some point. It's definitely one of the things which held him back a little bit on WE. It's definitely getting killed a fair amount here. Yeah, that right. Definitely annoying.
You know what? If you're going to count that Bard Magical Journey, you also have to count the Scion art.
True.
By that point, you've got 4 global to semi-global, multiple ways to traverse the map a lot faster and from more angles than you might otherwise expect.
What it allows you to do is it allows you to seize opportunities. When you see someone that you have a cooldown to fly at them, that is Tabe League of Legends. He teaches teams how to do that. He did that for RNG with Xiaohu, the Smoke and Mirrors. He did that for BLG. Of course, made their way to the top of the LPL in 23, and then when he left in 24, they remained there. Anyone's Legend did the same last year. Now he's on JDG trying to teach them exactly the same tools which BLG have retained and are using to get ahead in this game. This is a battle for the lineage of Tabe League of Legends in many ways, a coach which many people call the best in China. You see that BLG is much better in this game with those tools available to them than the last one. It does not feel nearly as contested as game 1.
It does not. This Oh, follow counter. Appreciate you coming on in here. It's a good match to be joining us for sure. Once again, thank you for all the subs. Support today. Want to join in? Feel free to. Especially as the popcorn is absolutely worth sticking around for this time around. Entertainment value is pretty much guaranteed, it feels like, this series.
That's a very interesting comment then, Night Star. Good honky is donkey and bad honky is bonky. Okay, alright. Alright.
That's what you've been smoking. Very good.
Yeah, okay. One thing which I found very interesting about this is typically Sivir is good into Varus. However, into Varus Bard, what we've been noticing is BLG throwing a lot of cooldowns, blowing the spell shield like that, and now it's down for the next handful of seconds. Now you can throw something like the Bard ult at him.
Taking up from going forward at the plot, lost and the tension coming down, but Shun is dead. No, the Tempered Fate buys time. Xiaoshu coming over the wall. I think probably Shun still dies. Not enough time bought, but your jungler dead. Xiaoshu, that's pretty far. We'll be okay. It's got himself a shield with the Repudiate, but there's Baron available, no jungler. Now Junji gets going forward, is exhausted. Wind becomes lightning, on forced to back away.
Sion's in the mid lane. I don't think JDG can go for the Baron. Oh, that's a really good angle from Honkyu. Gonna get across there. They should really know someone's in there. No, you gotta be careful, Sean, out of the brush. All it's gonna end up being, it's gonna be a push into the Raptors. Does it lead to the mid lane turret as well? Good pick. Shun is so much of the damage from BLG. When he goes down, you know, he's got the 2k lead, 7 kills. He is genuinely a huge part of BLG. They take the chance to pick him off now. Well, just like BLG have been trying to pick off Junja on the other side of the equation.
If you want a more broadcast safe way to talk about Honky,
yeah,
I feel like goose-related puns that I've been talking about. Honk, exactly. So he's either the golden goose or the silly goose, depending on how it's going.
Which is actually just spoken as written.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
It's like, you know, like us poor English speakers trying to speak in like the tonal language of tonal languages and stuff. It's just another kind of tonal language, you know. It's just the tone of avian variety or waterfowl variety.
Precisely. So is he the golden goose or is he the silly goose?
Well, we've got the golden left hand versus the golden goose. That's
exactly.
That's pretty good.
Exactly.
Okay, so what happened here? Oh, Junja gets a great angle out of Fog of War. Snacks up the key. This is really well played from Junja. Make sure the ult's down early so Viper can't get the big follow down. I mean, there is actually a chance if the ult's not there, he actually gets burst out, so just put it down early. I mean, realistically, that's a one-way trip. It's very hard to save him there. Shun does retain his flash, though, interestingly. So we will have that for the next plays, building up towards a GA, and then even then, actually, if you get a GA on this Pantheon, a pick like that becomes a lot harder to do. So JDG finding a window to do that before he gets that item. Oh, thank you for the Ko-fi donation, Brother Asta. Makes it more flooded.
Thank you very much.
Check that out after. I do actually have to refresh a page to go look at that, and I'm not going to lie. Refreshing my view of the minimap. That's what I'm doing, Sam.
What was the refresh taught you, Alex?
Well, if I speak in like LinkedIn speak, it refreshed my ability to see my my employees in the right line, get the efficiency out of. I'm not good enough at LinkedIn speak. I need to work on that. I really want to go.
And this is what's talking about B2B sales.
Trying to catch Vampire. Protobelt out. Good dodge.
Here's what Tempered Fate has told me about B2B sales.
Get her onto Gala. Dragon's alive, Tempered Fate down. They do get rid of the Protobelt, which is a 40-second cooldown, but it's a small splitting thing there. Definitely a win on using the magical journey. Takes a chunk, he's out safe.
Here's what Dragon Dancer taught me about staying agile in this fast-moving business world. Bit Knight in mid lane may help clear up that turret, may have to let go of some liquidity here. Unfortunately, as the structure's traded
Hang
out.
on, teleport behind, here comes Sion.
Decent adjustment there from business leaders. Gaming.
Yeah, they're business leading gamers. So invade into topside. JDG is saying, look, we don't have the vision control of the positioning on the bot side of the map. Xiaoshu will take the top turret. That's important for him. Xiaoshu has been kind of shut out of this game. There has been somewhat of a top diff. He's clawed back a lot of gold though. He was down 1,000 gold with the plates, with the waves coming in. Getting a little better for him. And a late game investor is still a late game investor regardless of the way that they get them. And now up to 2 items. When they get towards 3, have the Black Cleaver right now. What happens when they have a Death Stance or a Shojin or something like that? That's when you get really afraid for these quite scrappy first pick comps. We're really looking at first pick onto Shun, onto Junja, onto the person that's out of position.
Gala has got all of the cooldown ever with the Essence Reaver Flicker Blades angle, so she'll be able to cycle through quite a lot of stuff.
Right here. Now you have the GA onto Shun, so it's harder to do this, but and it's still hang on, here comes Knights.
We're definitely expecting a bit more violence than there ended up being there, so that will be down the Weaver's wall, but does get towards the wave. Overcomes the rest of JDG to help defend their own jungle, because that's the other side of this. The ward control for BLG in the jungle right now is pretty good, though JDG moving in concert to remove a fair amount of it.
Yeah, Knight's actually faster than the duo that were running away. He could have maybe stuck around for the flick, but I think
faster than us.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't really think that BLG were the Covenant in this equation, but sure, why not? See, once again, hang on, Spell Shield was once again used there by Garlic, because basically Sivir wants to Spell Shield the arrow, or just a big thing there. Did to stop Xiaoshu from recalling, I suppose.
The Repudiate Shield was good alongside the Eclipse, so not necessarily the most damage there from that fully stacked Q. A little bit of a Huya stutter, as we have come to know and, I would say love, tolerate, expect.
No exists.
Yeah.
Ooh, Spell Shield for dodge.
Gives himself the heal as well.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, no, Spell Shield actually heals you now, which is a big change which happened like a year or two ago. Spell Shield once again retained by Viper. He really wants to keep that Spell Shield up, by the way. Honky going for the Shadow Flame second, which means he's better at kind of finishing off those kills. Honky has been playing as cleanup Ahri, so it does make some sense. It does mean that his first pick into a play can be a little bit muted compared to, well, actually no, it is a pretty good second first item as well. It's more into, yeah, it's still pretty good. In some ways I prefer the Lich Bane, but in terms of like very quick picks, obviously the Shadow Flame is very good at getting you ahead of the curve. Going towards a Death Cap third as well. He's really just going for stack AP, one-shot someone at low HP, get those resets in.
Gala is a very rich man. Viper's not miles and miles behind, but it is still this Sivir. You do what with all the gold, up about 25 CS, feeling very happy about his place in the world right now. Once that Infinity Edge gets complete, there will be a certain Exodia moment for the Sivir when they start autoing through people. The ricochets may be required shortly, as that will be Vampire forced to flash as the Seismic Shove was procced.
Yeah, a little bit early on the Seismic Shove from Knight, trying to time it with the Bard ult. But Vampire flash down, we've seen a lot of just fight against the support in these first two games. Pantheon ult going bot side, here comes the Taliyah as well. Avengers, assemble!
Anyway, here's Weaver's Wall. We'll see whether the Oasis bros can make them out. I don't know whether they are the Gallaghers or what, dear. As they will get the flash on out there. Will Xiaoshu, and unfortunately for them, maybe we'll have to find out another day. Xiaoshu does still do a decent job of trying to dodge out, but it's just not enough and will eventually fall down. It's not quite a champagne supernova, but BLG will celebrate nonetheless.
Oh my god. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I actually can't think of too many of the famous Oasis songs to make it feel better. Anyway,
Is
what
Sally watching? Can he wait?
Shut up. Okay, fighting the enemy jungle. Junja's getting blasted by Shun.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. Throws down the Crescent Guard. Will it matter? As Honkyu's here, threatening Knight, but misses the charm. Does get stunned up by the unraveled earth, but because of those Mercury, it doesn't matter too much.
Considering how well Honky particularly started this game, the mid jungle of BLG have taken over. The globals have been insane, and JDG have not really been able to react in the way that they wanted. There's no ult on Honky now.
Oh, flash to try and get the stun, couldn't quite get it. Now the turnaround with that pop blossom is decent. Shun though, the Easter Soul is disgusting. Root is good. Tempered Fate just wide. As we all get away, Viper takes some turret shots. As does Shun. Is he going to lose his GA here? He is. No.
Close enough. It couldn't quite heat it up enough. Again, the clean feed. Got to lock in, folks. BLG don't get the kill onto Honky, but that's a lot of flashes blown now.
Okay, sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that, but that's great.
LPL laggers our game, folks. And if you want to see a better clean feed, you've got to make some noise to LPL. Maybe they can do something for us. If the audience interest is there, maybe something. BLG, you can definitely see that. Look, Shun is massacring Junja. Compared to that first game where Junja was actually doing very, very well at kind of bypassing the bad matchup and going into the play. 40 seconds now on the Dragon. There's a Medjai's on Knight, by the way. Death Cap on Honky, both mid laners building up their big old items. Sion into the river.
Ward, in comes the wall.
No
That
flash.
Vampire in a horrible spot. Decent job from Junja to keep Knight away from his support. He's both around the Crescent Guard, but again, Junja has had to do a lot of his own tanking. It's not bad this time, actually, and they hold the line and no one dies.
Viper walks into the Crescent Guard to get the damage, but then he misses the arrow, which changes the damage profile on Junja a lot. Vampire is still alive, by the way. In fact, well, actually,
No
what the
one
heck's
died.
happening there? Yeah, he's still off the board though. Ult's up in 10 seconds, has basically no HP, so I'm not sure he can really stick around. Yeah, Viper, gotta be better with those arrows there at that point. Vampire's still using those clones on the side. Basically, BLG said it's not worth chasing down the Nico, let's go somewhere else. Dragon is alive, would be third for BLG, and again, the feed is just stuttering its way through. BLG having the better of this now that Nico's off the table.
Here we go. Resets coming on through. That'll be the Shins Out not resetting. That's Vampire in the form of Shins Out resetting. Viper also reset. He's now at 4 items, by the way. There's a Medjai's in Knight's inventory. Finn is tanked, but again, he's bloody tanky. He can survive a fair amount of JDG's ministrations.
Why is it so sped up again?
He's catching up. That's how he does it.
Hang on, bit.
Tempered
Gala!
Fate! Doesn't quite catch. Gala managed to on the hunt get away there. No, that's actually a fair amount of damage back onto Finn, but he gets a big old shield. Gala gets just away from that Cosmic Binding, not hit by that. That's Gala's ult down.
Again, very tense scenario. Getting the spell shield again. Shun putting damage down.
and does do a fair amount of work. And Gala's now going to be forced to reset, I think.
Good arrow there onto Honkyu. Gets tagged by Varus. Oh my god. And stuff. BLG, I think they're winning out in the HP bars by drips and drabs. Can JDG land themselves a big bit of engage? Feels quite hard. They flash away.
Vampire gets Pop Blossom onto 1. Nearly get it onto 2 because that shot, but he's now dead. That was not the best flank of all time, it must be said. Honkyu looking at Viper, gets the job. That's so much damage onto the Varus. Well done from Honkyu. Spin up from his team. Xiaoshu finishes what his support started. Knight goes gold and pull away from Honkyu. Just out of range of the decimating smash. Knight very low. As Gala ricochets his way through the back end of that one as the charm comes on down. Just wide from Bin, but the extended play from JDG is good.
Yeah, the engage is a little skew-if, but the damage is better. Viper gets split from the play, and he can't stay safe. Gala gets to ricochet, as you were saying. And BLG starting to lose out in the late game damage checks. I thought that BLG had won through the chunks. Didn't kill Vampire at the start of the play. Viper making a mistake by not killing Junder, I think, in the earlier part of this. JDG win themselves that dragon. What the heck happened here? It's a good flash away. Gets rid of Xiaoshu's play here. I think that actually Viper makes a huge mistake. He doesn't trust the team to peel for him there. If he walks with Knight, he's not out of position. Huge mistake from Viper. Doesn't trust Vampire and Shun to peel for him. I get if they were both clumped, it would have been the game-changing play. It was great peel though. Knight should have saved the game there with Shun. Being able to kill off Vampire so quickly. Viper misposition. Clearly a miscommunication there.
Again, no flash, no cleanse, because he's running the teleport. Had just burned the chains of corruption. And unfortunately, it goes down there. And Honkyu now 6-3. A menace with the death cap and the arm guard.
Okay, so now we get to start seeing some of that scaling. Hang on, flash in from Junja. Couldn't quite catch Xiao on. Now the flash down from the Shins out. That could be a problem.
Maybe looking for an angle. Bin is actually eating a lot of damage now. The Black Cleaver value is good. Honkyu goes golden. Chains of corruption, therefore doesn't land. Xiao's in the back. Pop! Boom! Pop goes to damn weasels. BLG on the right end of this particular nursery rhyme. Bin is dead. A little bit of a zombie, but Shun needs to clear the wave because otherwise I think they can shop for inhibitors some more.
Vampire finds the engage he's been looking for the entire game. JDG may well have just 2-0'd what we thought was the best team in the LPL. JDG felled anyone's legend just the last week. Can they do it to BLG? They've got a few seconds to work with. I think they can do it.
We had concerns about their team fighting, about their consistency, about what happens to Honkyu in a side lane, what happens if they draft poorly. The Tabe team looks like a Tabe team. The imports from the LCP deliver, and Jingdong Gaming will provide BLG with their first loss of the winter season.
2026 promises great things from BLG, but JDG put a bump in the road. The first loss from BLG of 26 comes from, of course, that coach of theirs from 23. Yeah, you can show off the shirt all you want. It's slightly less successful this time. Yeah. Shut up. Yeah. Wonderful. That's great. That's wonderful. It's great. Really good game from JDG in that second one. The turnaround in the mid-game plays was exceptional. This game was a lot of it was on Gala. I think Gala did very, very well. I think actually a lot of that game was quite labored from Xiaoshu and Vampire. I think they were really struggling. But right at the end, Xiaoshu got into the thick of things. Vampire finally got his engage after suffering the entire game. Really was worked out in their favor. Honkyu ran that early game. Yeah, very surprised that BLG couldn't close out either of those games with the gold lead. Yeah. They had a great lead in both of those games, couldn't close it out.
I think part of that for me is like actually Syndra ended up being a little bit of risk of the Malphite in game one. We saw Viper in that game getting just a little bit caught out. Just some of those minute moments for a little bit of a lack of trust, a little bit of a good clutch moment from JDG helped turn things around. And I think a lot of that, Junja, Honkyu, fantastic this series. Very rarely do we see mid laners match or even exceed Knight in lane in the regular parts of the game. Knight didn't have a bad series, but was he dominating his opponent like we so regularly see? No. Yeah. And that's a big deal.
I do think that Knight did well to get out on the map. I don't think he had done a bad series, but it was clear that he was under pressure to do so. And that's the thing. If it's like you have to move out into the map, it's very different from you can, and you choose to do that at the right point. So, folks, my name is Nymaera, this is Initialise. We bring you the LPL whenever we can. I did just put an ad break on, so a lot of people actually aren't going to hear this, but if you're not hearing that ad break, whether it's on YouTube or on Nivea, if you've liked what you've heard here today, if you've liked what you've seen here today, please think about liking, commenting, subscribing, posting some clips in different places too. It helps us keep what we're doing because we're not paid to do this besides what you give us as an audience as well.
We need those exposure books.
So, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of our little bit of the LPL community. JDG, I'm really excited to see where this team goes. Obviously, just lost to IG, but they're a bogey team. Even through that, I was saying, look, they're a top 3 team. Can they get beyond that? BLG should clearly be the best team, but JDG got one over on them. I think they were much better in some bits of the draft, but clearly the clutch plays in mid and late game were going to JDG, which I just wouldn't consider against this BLG team. Perhaps those late game worries still there in some form.
And again, I want to make this clear. BLG did not have a bad series. They are 0-2. They're going to be frustrated with the loss, but that was a solid series from a number of players. On had some good moments. We saw Knight find some great shoves. Shun in that last game on that Pantheon was a monster. We know what this team can do. I think Viper actually had quite a quiet series. I think Gala was very, very scary in those late game moments. I think actually we saw some questions about maybe some of the drafts. Like that first game in particular, a little bit easier for JDG to execute on. But I think it did come down to small differences, which was a big deal. And that's exciting to see. If you're a JDG fan, this rivalry lives on.
It does. I have to say, I think Viper had a bit of a mess series, man. I think Viper.
I agree.
I think Gala was the better AD carry. I think that Viper in game 1 on the Unara, pretty hard to play, but even then, he was not finding himself the positions to do the damage. Game 2, several huge mistakes from him. When he walked into the Crescent Guard meaning to kill Shinzao, instead missed his arrow by firing it to the right. Big mistake. And particularly in that last play, one of the last plays towards mid lane, where the Vampire engage was stopped, not trusting his team to peel, instead walking off to the side and isolating himself from Honk to Honky's Ahri. Those couple of mistakes show that he doesn't trust the team necessarily in the team fighting stance right now. Is that because the team is not communicating to him well enough? We don't know. Is it because they are and it's not being registered? Or whatever.
Possibilities as well.
Clearly, though, there's work to be done for BLG. This is not just plug and play. Despite the strong start from them against some other teams, BLG get humbled here.
Yep.
JDG, best team in the LPL for now.
I'm going to put this out there. I know there's a fair number of you in here. We are 7 followers away from 10,100 followers.
True. You get a lot of
So we got 10,000 about a day and a half ago. So for those of you who would like to make sure you've hit that follow button, if you're not already, please do that. That would be wonderful. I'm going to go stream myself.
Okay.
Make sure, guys, that you have hit that follow button, you've hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube, if you've got that additional ability to donate or support us. Twitch Prime, Ko-fi, Twitch subs, all that stuff is hugely impactful for us. If you've seen a cool clip, post it.
Oh my
Last
God.
call out on that one.
Wow. That Gala damage. Look, folks. Yeah, the Poke Varus is almost the lowest damage on his team. The lowest of relevant damage on his team. Viper had a pretty poor performance here, folks. I thought that some of his arrows in the early game were pretty good, but
Struggling in team fights.
Clearly, Viper, who I think I thought he was the best AD carry in the world in 25, and I think it's hard to argue against that in some ways, actually. Across the average of the entire year, Viper was very, very good. He started this split pretty well, but right here,
that's not a great
mistake or two. Let's see how we can recover from that. So I don't know exactly what clips they're going to do. Sam, you go get ready for your stream.
Yep.
You get ready for your stream. If you're on YouTube, the show will end shortly, and if you're on Twitch, we're going to go right over to Sam. Thank you for everyone for watching through today. Obviously, it's a very cool series, but folks, we have fun regardless of the series. For those of you who stuck around for the whatever happened earlier in the day, we thank you for that too. It makes a lot of difference that you're here to support us. I'm watching the whole of the LPL. Well, or even just the bits you like. You know, I'm not going to force you to watch it. I mean, not yet. Not yet. I am no longer asking. Oh my God. 8.5 hour stream? Yeah, that happens. That will happen occasionally. On the 3's game days. What have we got tomorrow, actually? Let me just check what we've got in the upcoming days. Tomorrow we have Top Esports AL and Weibo JDG. Huh. So JDG playing back-to-back days. That can be quite difficult for them, actually. Junja was 30% of his team's damage. That's pretty damn high. Jeez, really. Well, Sam's streaming. He'll be streaming Disco Elysium, which is a very fun... well, it's technically a point-and-click adventure-based game, but it's a very, very good investigation-type game. And for those of you that don't know what it is, watch it for about 5 minutes. You'll get the vibes. It's very well written. The vibes are immaculate. I'm sure you'll love it. We'll never see a sequel. Yeah, well, we'll see. No, we'll see like 5 half sequels, all of which claim to be the true sequel. You know? Oh, God. Very happy that JDG looked good. Very happy that JDG looked good. Let me just check. I haven't checked any notifications. Looks like we're okay on that front. Okay, just waiting for Sam to get ready for his stream now. If you're on the YouTubes, the show will end here. And if you're on the other things, we'll go... Well, Twitch, that's the only other thing. We'll go over to that as well. Who have they got the interview with? We're not going to stick around for all the interviews, sadly. Junja, let's go. Compliment for Hilo. Gala is lucky to have a fan like you. Very lucky to have a fan like you. I know that, like, that's your favorite player, right? I didn't see who got player of the game. They did that. But they're very lucky to have a fan like you. I know that you're very, very passionate about your favorite players. Every player should have a fan like you. That would be the ideal. And you're very, like, it's, yeah, the passion clearly shows through. Okay, folks, I'm going to stop the YouTube streams, and we'll